OK, we're running a little late, so let's get on with it. Good evening, this is LBC, I'm Nick Abbott, and let's just check with the gentleman through the screen. First of all, could you introduce yourselves and tell us what your star sign is? You don't have to fade that out, I like that.
Oh, there we go, we'll keep it going then. Hello, I'm Elliot, and I'm a Leo.
And you're very loud.
Very loud too.
And I'm Gary, and I'm still a Taurian.
Huh, Leo, eh? Now this is, it's exactly what I was talking about last week. Everyone who's a Leo goes into radio. Because Alex is a Leo. Where is Alex, by the way? Is he throwing a sickie just like Lucy did last week?
I think this is a planned holiday.
A planned holiday, right. And Lucy's planned holiday starts now, right? Interestingly, she went on sick leave just before she took the holiday.
Do you think there's connection?
Yeah, well, there might be, yeah.
Timing is everything.
Have either of you been shot or stabbed this week?
Not this week, no.
You hate that music, don't you?
It ran out, it ended.
Have either of you been arrested in a dawn swoop?
No.
Will either of you miss the first 3 games of the season by getting a red card, which was no fault of your own?
Ah, that might be me.
So the security level has been downgraded. It was, I think it was... this patch 1, by the way, doesn't work. I'll just tell you that right now. It was downgraded from oh no to oh no. It's actually ruined the entire start of this show. I had it all planned out. You told me it works, and it doesn't. Never mind.
Did you put the fader up?
Did I put the fader up?
Just checking.
Have I done this before?
Have you?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that small complaint for me?
Yes.
Right. What does it mean that it's grey?
It means that I've not put it there for you yet. Would you like it there now?
Well, I've got to talk to someone.
Okay.
So this is starting excellently. And as soon as this complaint comes in, I think that it'll really start going downhill. A complaint? I haven't even started yet. How can there be a complaint? Stephen?
Hello, Nick. I was listening to one of your old programmes the other day. And
Yeah.
in 2002, you promised me that in 2006 I would be dead along with everybody else. But we're still here.
Well, there's time yet. You'll be dead like everyone else. In what sense?
Well, I don't know. Could it be global warming?
Well, there must have been some reason.
No, you didn't actually give the reason. It was from a newspaper clipping of some kind.
Well, no one would print it in the newspaper that everyone's going to be dead in 2006 without there being a solid reason.
Oh, well, I didn't hear it. I just thought that was a bit of fun. Anyway, what did you do with your week off?
You know what? I fell over for the first couple of days and just laid there with my face in the carpet.
Yeah.
And after that, I thought, wow, I felt... You know that feeling when you leave the house and you know you feel like you haven't taken something vital with you?
Yeah.
Or that you should be doing something and you're sitting around and you're twiddling your thumbs and you think, there's something missing here. Well, that's the way I felt, because I'd worked for a month every single day, and then I just had the last week off, and it felt like I was skipping school.
I thought you enjoyed doing nothing.
Well, no, I do. I haven't been used to doing nothing. Once I get in the swing of it, like next week, for instance, then it'll be plain sailing. But last week I felt a bit guilty. It felt not quite guilty. It just felt as though that I should have been doing something. I had this sort of dread feeling at the back of my mind that I should have been at work, but I wasn't.
So did you cheer yourself up watching BBC Breakfast News?
What is wrong with those people, by the way? I mean, I know it's part of BBC News, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with BBC News. It's just like a news channel, right? You can watch 15 minutes of it, and then that's it for the day. But BBC Breakfast News, those 2 hours or 3, whatever it is in the morning, they just... is it run by children's BBC? Because it just seems to be stupid. There's no other way for anyone to describe it. It's a silly programme.
Make your own news up. Reply with an email.
Exactly. Why on earth, on a news programme, are they interested in what the public think? That's the forum for a talk show, not a news show. It's
Anyway,
just nuts.
Last week I was listening to you on an iPod in Glasgow. Anyway, we're just coming back from a holiday, and we went for some fish and chips in Glasgow.
You went on holiday to Glasgow?
No, we went up to Sutherland, but on the way back we kept stops in Glasgow, and we had some fish and chips there. And my missus was really scared, she was. You'd think that they were really rough people. They were really nice people, but, you know, I suppose she thought they looked a bit rough, to be honest.
Well, they have a reputation, and it's a reputation born from up until relatively recently, when as Glasgow was a giant no-go zone. Well, that's exaggerating for comic effect, but more or less. But Glasgow these days is a fabulous place. I mean, I know I said with incredulity that you went to Glasgow for a holiday, but actually it's not a bad place to go for a holiday.
At least they smile.
At least they smile.
Hey, I was coming back on the motorway.
What do you mean, at least they smile?
Well, some places, you go on a holiday and they don't smile.
Like where?
Like Sutherland, some of the places there.
Sutherland? Where is that?
Sutherland, that's right up northwest of Scotland.
Right, I only know Sutherland Brothers and Quiver.
No, it's near Ullapool, that kind of way.
Right. That also seems like a bizarre place to go. I mean, didn't you get bitten to death by midges? It's midge season,
No, it
right?
wasn't too bad, actually, because the weather was horrendous.
Awful, yeah.
Anyway,
So in one of the worst Augusts in living memory, you decided to go to Scotland. Good move.
the paper said it was going to be hotter than July.
Right, well, yes, they did. That's absolutely right. They did say, and I saw it on the front page of one of the papers as I went by, it was 100 degrees at the time, and they said, August will be hotter than July. Can you believe it? I virtually melted right there on the spot. And were they right? No, they weren't.
Anyway, you know, from next month you're on DAB quasi-national radio.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, you're going to be broadcasting to the southwest. You might hear from Elizabeth from Cheddar. You never know.
Never know, yeah.
And up north now, where I live in Chester, you're going to be up there as well. So you might be hearing from quite a few old people that you used to hear from in the past.
In Super Soaraway DAB?
That's it, yeah.
Huh. And from there, we'll take over the world.
You might be on a national platform. You could end up somewhere else.
It's shocking that I had to hear this from you, but never mind.
Hey, no, I won't say DJs.
Hey!
But do radio presenters ever end up doing a merry-go-round, going from one station to... I mean, could you end up back at the V again?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what happens in this business. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because, bosses, particularly there, not lately, but when I was working there, the door to the boss's office was revolving. I mean, they'd be in there for 5 minutes before they got changed. And they never, it was a bizarre, it was just weird. They would decide, right, this is the direction we want to go, charge! And then about halfway down the track, they say, oh, no, hang on, retreat! It was weird.
I know it might make your life exciting, but, I mean, does it give you any stability? I mean, have you got a company pension or anything like that?
Nothing like that, no. Do not get into show business for loads of reasons, one of which is there is no stability well, you know what, there's no stability in any job these days, is there? Unless you want to be a politician, and then you're set for life.
Does that mean you're going to turn into Jimmy Savile?
Well, one day I hope to be as old as him, but not to look like that in public, no.
Anyway, by the way, I've only got an old car. I haven't got a nice car like Abe.
Good for you, mate.
But anyway, it's nice talking to you, Nick.
And you, Stephen. Thanks.
Talk again.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, I'm going to take a break and we'll come back, and everything will be super. I just know it.
You don't have to be good.
Let's have Tony in Barking. Nothing works. Oh, my God.
Nick.
Tony.
Nick.
Yes, Tony.
Yeah, I listened to you for the very, very first time tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think you're great.
Are you really called Tony?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, definitely. Are you really called Nick or Nicholas?
Only my parents call me Nicholas, Ian.
Yeah, and the thing is, I prefer you as a talk show host, because on those radio stations that you're at, they're not like music stations. They're rubbish, aren't they?
Yes, Ian.
Yeah, and the thing is about, you know this thing about the Tory thing about the stars. Right?
The stars, yes.
Yeah. Not all of the people are Toryans, are they? I don't think what you just said. Sure.
So anybody following this but me? Not all the people are Torians.
No.
Well, particularly those that aren't.
Yeah, but some of them are Sagittarians, like me.
Right.
And some of them are Pisceans, and some of them, Other stuff, don't they?
Okay.
Yeah.
You keep thinking, because that's what you do best, mate. All right. That was Ian, right? Let's have, Chris. Hello, Chris.
Good evening.
Chris, how are you?
I'm very well, actually. It's just that, normally on a Saturday night I wouldn't be calling anybody, because, I mean, it's a busy enough day when you're working. But I heard something about the Scottish people. Now, I am actually Scottish. I was born in Glasgow, okay? But I've lived in London for 17 years, and I was just a bit miffed as to why you still think that Scottish people are a little bit sort of Neanderthal in your thinking. Can you explain that to me?
Neanderthal?
Yeah.
Which station are you listening to? What did I just say?
For God's sake, come on. Listen, the last call, but 3, was saying, oh, you went to Scotland, and actually they were quite nice people.
Yeah, he said that. I didn't say that. He said that.
Exactly, yeah, he said that, but, you know, I mean, Scottish people are known to be some of the most friendliest people in the world. I know that because I'm Scottish.
Right, listen, Chris, hang on. But before you get carried away, I am half Scottish. I grew up in Scotland. I went to school in Scotland.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that. That's fantastic. But even though I don't live in Scotland anymore, all my family still live there, and I'm more or less English by the number of years I lived here.
Well, I don't know. I'm half Scottish, and I can prove it. You prove
Well,
that
I'm
you're...
half Scottish, half Polish.
Polish, right.
Yeah.
You're lucky to be alive, mate.
Do you think so?
I mean, mine's a coincidence, but yours is off the scale.
It's a good job it's a Saturday night and I'm not working, because I'll tell you now, you wouldn't have a leg to stand on. But the point I'm trying to make is that the person who was speaking to you before saying, oh, well, I was in Scotland and they were so nice, I'm thinking, well, you know, most people are generally nice. It shouldn't matter where you come from.
Well, I don't know. Have you been to Paris?
Well, no, I've got a very good friend who's French in Paris, but I've never been there. But that would never make my judgment call that French people are a pain in the arse.
No, I didn't say French people are. Parisians.
Parisians, okay. Yeah. No, I've got no experience of Parisians, but I've heard about it. But I believe that, you know, we all come from the same boat at the end of the day. So what does it matter where we come from?
Well, that's a very nice way to think about it. I think about it in more realistic terms, that everybody hates everybody else, which is actually more
Well, yes, because
more the
I
truth.
hate everybody else, because I drive every day, so I hate everybody who drives in front of me.
Exactly.
Behind me. Yeah.
And what do you drive?
Golf.
A Golf? Oh, no, I thought you meant that you do it for a living.
Yes, I do.
You're just a recreational driver and you hate everyone.
No, behave yourself now. I have appointments every day. I have a very busy schedule. I have to go and visit people, and therefore I have to sit in the traffic every day and deal with these foreign influxes and female drivers who haven't got a clue what they're doing.
Now, see, here came one thing saying, first of all, isn't it outrageous that people would make, vast, sweeping statements about Scottish people?
Yeah,
you just condemned half the population of the planet.
Well, of course, why not? That's my prerogative, isn't it? Isn't it just my right to say what I want to feel? Otherwise, why would I phone you up? Why would I make any comment whatsoever unless I could say what I wanted to say?
Yeah, but you're very contradictory, Chris.
Oh.
You're contrary-wise.
Contrary? No, okay. Let's put it this way then, okay? I believe that every person on this planet has the right to say what they want to say. But at the same time, what's the point in having an opinion if you can't voice it?
I don't know. Many opinions are best not voiced.
Okay, well, you just want to play games with me. I can see that.
I think that's absolutely true. A lot of opinions are best not voiced.
Well, true. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with you completely.
I mean, it's an emollient. People will get on better if you keep it to yourself more.
Well, if we all kept it to ourselves more, then really, would there be as many foreigners living in this country as there are now?
That doesn't make any sense. What you just said doesn't make any sense. Now you're just bringing words down from the air. Come on, Chris. Next time you call in, make notes. All right. Let's go with Wisdom Jones. Is that your name?
Yeah.
Hello. Your first name's Wisdom?
Yeah.
Oh, you're bound to be better than the last call, then.
Yeah, because the topic I've got to talk about will very much interest you.
A topic?
That's not actually a topic, but it's something which you've been going on about for the past few weeks.
Go on.
Big Brother.
Oh, more than weeks. It's been going on for years, that programme. I got hooked at the beginning because of this show, because of one caller, and if I ever know who it is, I'm going to go around and personally strangle them. They got me hooked on a programme that I'd never, ever watched before. And I've wasted almost the entire year watching that programme, because it's on every day.
13 weeks, to be precise.
13! It seemed a lot longer than that. I absolutely refuse to watch that programme ever again.
You say that, and then when the next one comes, somebody says, oh, Nick, you should watch this, you should watch this.
Yeah, you know what? I've already made a mistake, because I made a mental note to never watch any reality TV programme again, and already tonight I've made a mistake. Do you know what it is? The X Factor.
Oh, my brother was watching that this evening.
Now see, you watch one, and then you're hooked on that too, and now that's going to be the rest of the year. I'll be watching that stupid programme until, it ends in just before Christmas, doesn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
What did you make of Big Brother?
Well, it was addictive. Once I'd got over the fact that my brain was screaming at me to turn it off, I found it addictive, such that I watched it every night. That's just so embarrassing, but I did.
You say that you are not really addicted to reality shows, but did you actually ever call in to evict somebody?
No.
So you weren't that hooked?
Well, no, I was... There's two different things. Being hooked on the programme is one thing. Being taken in such that you think that your vote will actually make a difference, as in all votes, really, and spending 50p to do it, then no, I refuse. I didn't care that much.
Plus the premium rate charge that BT charge you as well.
Yeah, I know. On it goes.
Yeah.
But I think the best man won.
Repeat.
Yeah. The pictures that were in the papers today are quite alarming, because he's got his mouth wide open in most of the pictures, and you can see right into his mouth, and there appears to be things in there that aren't normal. He's got what looks like fangs at the back of his mouth. Is that possible? No.
Unless he has more than 23 pairs of chromosomes, no.
Well, this is almost like an education, this programme, isn't it? 23, you say?
23 pairs of I've said the word chromosomes.
Right. So anyway, what was going to be your point about Big Brother?
Just wondering if you enjoyed it and if you'll be watching it next year and all this stuff.
No. But I say that now. No, I won't. I can't. This is ridiculous. There aren't enough hours in your life to be watching Big Brother every year, because I think in a couple of weeks' time they're going to start another Big Brother that's going to last for a couple of weeks. It's going to be more intensive, or sort of something like that. Channel 4 have got it up their sleeves that there's another Big Brother starting in a couple of weeks. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
And it's not the celebrity one. I think they've got that up their sleeves. And so basically it will never end, and they're putting it on as a public service, because they're a public service broadcaster, remember? Can anybody remember the last thing they saw on Channel 4 that resembled public service broadcasting?
News.
The news, yeah. Well, they haven't got a choice about that. They have to do the news. I think it's the law.
That's the only thing I can actually watch on Channel 4. I used to watch Deal or No Deal, but I don't know. I don't have time to watch that anymore.
No, good for you, mate. Well, you saved yourself at the last. Deal or No Deal. There's a programme that's not even a programme, and what is it? They point at Mr. Tidybeard, and then nothing happens. It's the silliest game I've ever seen, and it's a worldwide smash. There's another £1 million idea I didn't have.
Yeah, they're doing it at some Ben Shop Ladbrokes. Yeah, they're doing some Deal or No Deal thing where you can win up to 25,000.
Oh yeah, sure you will. Yeah, that's a good way to spend your money. A betting shop. Yeah, you're bound to win.
Oh, well, that's them for you, isn't it?
All right, well, listen, thanks a lot, Wisdom.
No problem.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da. What an excellent first name. Here's Alan in Burton-on-Trent.
Hello.
Alan.
Hi.
How are you?
I was going to actually speak about Big Brother, but I think enough people are going to do that this evening, actually.
Well, you know what? I've been disappointed. I mean, I guess I don't want to talk about Big Brother a lot, but I was disappointed and surprised that after somebody, a caller on this programme, got me hooked on that show,
right,
that then no one called about it.
I've been actually trying to avoid a friend's house because he actually records it on his hard drive. And actually, I'm a bit behind the times, actually. My friend's, I'd say an associate of yours, Aid.
Right, he's no associate. He's, I don't know what you call... I don't know what you call the relationship. A stalker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think stalker's
Stalker with a
closer.
flash car, Nick.
Stalker's is not probably what you would choose, but it's closer than associate. Yeah.
Well, what do you call it? He's a brilliant bloke, but sort of, I must say, he drives a really flash car.
I know he does.
And
For someone who cleans toilets for a living, it's incredible.
Well, I'd just like to point out, all factory workers can't afford a flash car like him. Sort of, his brother's just bought a brand new Lotus, and I'm sort of, I drive a little crappy Rover, and I'm quite surprised. He's sort of, I have to cross the street when I see him because I'm that poor.
I saw it in the street the other day, and you don't see many of these. Are an old Rover TC 2000. You remember those? Oh, what a car! Absolutely fantastic. They had the steering wheel that was bigger than most cars these days. It was huge. But a beautiful thing, and every now and then you see one trundling by, being held together with gaffer tape, like my car is, and you think, memories, what memories?
Can I just ask what model is your car?
No. I'm not going to tell you anything about it.
Is it, what we're talking, Skoda, Lada?
Well, it's not quite that bad, but it's third hand. That's all the information I'll give you.
Third hand, that's not too bad, is it really, sort of,
well,
guys rich as you.
People, yeah, right. No one in radio earns any money unless they've been in television.
All right. Well, you've worked for a number of companies by now, anyway. Anyway, my real point is sort of I went up to the Edinburgh Festival, and sort of first time I've ever been up there.
Did you have a room planned before you got there?
Totally spur of the moment. Just went up and just looked at the shows, and to be quite honest,
where did you stay?
I stayed on a friend's floor. It was.
Oh, right. Okay, so you did have a room planned before you went up there, right? Because that's one thing that you don't want to do, go to the Edinburgh Festival without having planned your room, because there won't be any.
Well, so there was accommodation there. Still, I was quite surprised, but it was quite dear.
Yeah, through the roof, I would think. Yeah. There'll always be a room if you can pay for it. Yeah. Like anything. Anyway, how was it?
Well...
That's a very long pause there. Well, come on, it's one of the greatest festivals.
Some of the people were funny. My mate Aid is funnier.
Well, what did you see? Because most of these shows are coming our way, right? All the good ones are coming our way. What was great that we'll be able to see in London's fashionable West End?
Back to the Futon. That was really, really funny.
Back to the what?
Back to the Futon.
Right.
He was taking the mickey.
Oh, you need to get to higher ground or get a better phone. Are you using a mobile?
On somebody's 3-network mobile, Nick.
Right, without mentioning any brand names, 3-network, you say?
Yes, 3-network. I apologise. Anyway.
I can't talk in my mobile for more than about 30 seconds without it feeling as though I'm growing a tumour. I mean, I literally cannot put it to the side of my head. Fortunately, it comes with this...
question. Does it have string attached?
No.
Well, this one should.
Fortunately, it comes with... a speaker phone thing. That's the only way I can use my phone, because it feels like I'm actually boiling my brain when I use my mobile.
Oh, right. Well, you've got the wrong mobile then.
Well, I've got the same mobile that everyone's got, that thin thing.
Thin thing?
Yeah, everybody that you see who's got a mobile has got one of these thin things. And I don't know how people can put it... I don't know how you can use it.
I've just got a cheap, crappy Nokia phone. But my mates who are dead rich, they're on a certain network.
There's another brand name. What kind of cheap, crappy phone?
I can't mention it.
Right.
Sort of no more advertising. I don't want to get into trouble.
Too late for that, I think.
Oh, yeah. Anyway. But the acts up there were really good. But Aid, I must admit, he could have done a show up there.
Well, who famous? Anyone we've heard of? Griff Rhys-Jones?
No.
The Goodies?
Mel Smith?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I was thinking the fat bloke who does Churchill. And Griff Rhys-Jones. That's not Griff
There was Mike
Rhys-Jones.
McShane off, whose line is it anyway. And a few others.
Right. All of these rich people who don't need the money, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we sort of charged about £15 a ticket. There was Bill Bailey.
Oh, he's great. Listen, thanks for the news, but I've got to go.
Want to save on a sofa? They're all coming at you. The DFS sale's on, so you're going to find one. Sofas with 2 seats, 3...
So, let's start the show again. Or let's not. Here's Louise in Barnsworth. If I can get her up. Hey, Louise.
Hi, Nick, how are you?
What's up?
Right. You know, you were talking about the news programmes that have a really annoying opinion poll.
I'm just mystified as to why are they interested in what the public think on a news programme? Surely their purpose is to tell us the facts, not to read out emails of people who are watching the news. I just don't get it.
I totally agree with you. I just think it's wanting to waste time, really. They don't really care, do they?
Well, that's the thing with the news is there's no need to waste time, because as soon as you've run out of stories on a 24-hour news channel, you just go back to the beginning and read them again.
Yeah, but...
It must be really rather dull being on because you've got to look interested, for everything you're saying, and you're probably saying it for the 100th time that day.
Yeah, you've got to say it in the same tone of voice as well, haven't you, all the time?
But they must have gone to America, the people that produce that program, and seen all the joshing news anchors that they have in America, and it's always a blonde bimbo. I mean, I'm sure that they're not bimbos, but that's the way they look. They choose them all to look like a bimbo, and an older guy who looks like he might be speaking the truth, and they all have this sort of faux sexual chemistry going on, where they're kidding with each other, and, oh, what are you going to do tonight? And, oh, my God, just read the news.
Yeah, well, maybe it's so they know what to report on, so they know what people are interested in, or something. I don't know.
No, that's not it at all. They just, I think that part of it is that they want to say that they're being inclusive, that they're listening to their
audience.
Yeah, their viewers, and they're letting us join in, and because. Well, if Sky News didn't do it, then I would say that it's just because the BBC are going after a pay rise from the government, right? And so they're saying, well, look at all this tremendous work that we're doing by giving open access to our viewers. And the government will nod its head sagely, and the BBC will be safe in the knowledge that no one who's making a decision about them actually watches television. So they can just write it down and they go, oh, yeah, that's right, OK, here's an extra 5%. But Sky News do it as well. It's just so... irritating. But I don't think Sky News actually read out people's emails, do they? They just have like a vote line.
Yeah, they do, and Channel 4.
I'm just mystified. I just don't get it. Why does... if there'll be something like... and 56 people were killed today by a madman who ran amok, who'd just been let out after serving 3 weeks of a life sentence. What do you think? Email us now. I mean, what do they expect people to say? Well, I think it's great. It's insane.
Yeah, it's just waste, isn't it, really?
It's just become silly. But it's just a pocket of silliness right at the beginning of the day, whereas the rest of the output seems to be just like a normal news channel. I guess that the people are watching in the morning more so than during the rest of the day. So if they ask for emails during the rest of the day, they haven't got an audience, so they probably won't get any. So maybe they're cramming in all of that audience participation right at the beginning of the day.
I have something there with a get interactive thing, definitely.
But who can be bothered to email a news programme at breakfast time?
Yeah.
I mean, aren't you, like, rushed off your face first thing in the morning?
It depends what you're doing, I suppose. Some people get up really early, don't they? Just because they can.
I don't know. I think most people get up as late as they possibly can, just because of the hideous nightmare of the gruelling day. Because the first thing you have to do is the rush hour, right?
Yeah.
And every fibre of your body is telling you to stay in bed. And so they do, until the very last moment that they can possibly manage to get to work on time. And then they're running out the door and running to the train, and you start the day just covered in sweat and the prickly heat of fear. Awful.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's retired people with nothing better to do.
Yeah, yes, right, because they get up early, don't they, old people?
My grandparents do.
They get up early and they go to bed, early.
Yeah, they go to bed at
They're more in tune with the world, yeah, because that's how we used to be when, before the invention of electricity in, the 50s.
Really?
Yeah, well, once it gets dark, there's nothing to do. You start bumping into the cave wall, and so you have to go to bed. It just makes sense. And as soon as light comes up, early bird catches the worm, and in those days, of course, we used to eat worms. Very nutritious.
Nice. I'm glad that I was here now.
Yeah, here and now, yeah. You have the choice. You can go to the supermarket and choose to buy worms or not, as is your wont.
No, I don't think so.
Well, give it a try, Louise, and report back to me. In fact, send me an email, all right?
I will.
All right, thanks a lot.
See ya.
Ta-da.
Bye.
Here's Matthew in Harrow. Harrow?
You young man.
Matthew.
Yes.
What's up?
It's about the Post. I'm
Post?
just wondering how many people are still waiting for the circulars for the new proportional prices that start on Monday.
That's an excellent question. I haven't had one.
I can tell people what to do.
In fact, I haven't had any post for days. Somebody, some firm sent me a letter the other day that said, despite numerous reminders, we haven't had any money from you, so now we're going to sue you. I haven't had any reminders at all. They didn't phone me and they didn't email me. Now, both of those things you can pretty much rely on, right? Because if I picked up the phone, then I know I'm speaking to someone. But so the reminders must have come by post. Haven't had a single thing, and now I'm going to be sued.
Get onto the post office.
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
And if that doesn't work, you go direct to Postwatch.
Postwatch?
Yes, it so happens I'm on a residence committee where I live, and I am their Postwatch rep and go to their meetings.
Now, a residence committee. I almost got roped into doing this in the last place that I lived, but I sidestepped it, like I'm trying to think of a player who does a lot of sidestepping. Oh, how about that winker? Ronaldo. Yeah, I sidestepped it like Ronaldo. Because, I don't know. You're retired, right?
Unfortunately, I'm disabled from work, yeah.
Right, okay. So you enjoy the work?
I enjoy doing it. It's not too much, but it's for people to contact me. People on the estate where I live know me and they've got my number. And if they don't know my number, they can go to the management office. And
but aren't you putting yourself right in the firing line for a lot of malcontents, nuts, and weirdos?
I'm only too pleased to keep the post office on the toes. I'm on the voluntary sector of it, but if I can't deal with the problem, I report it to the Postwatch executive, who really take it up.
Do they?
Today, for instance, up to about 9 o'clock today, none of our estate had received any leaflets regarding the new prices.
How many people live on your estate?
650 flats.
Right, okay. And are there any days that go by when no one receives any post?
Sometimes we don't get any for 3 or 4 days, and then we get a load together.
Yeah.
Just on posting.
Okay, they back a lorry up to the building, yeah.
And what I did today, I got onto one of the managers and said to him, if I don't get any circulars regarding the new pricing by Monday, I will have no option but to take this to the post office executive. And guess what happened?
Nothing.
3 hours later, they delivered.
I think that's probably a coincidence. The post office executive, does such a thing exist?
The post watch executive.
Oh, the post watch. Oh, well, you should have said. Who are they?
They oversee the Royal Mail.
Right.
And
I wonder how the Queen feels about it, by the way.
I don't know. But 2 or 3 hours later, lo and behold, they delivered the relevant literature.
Right, and does any of it make any sense?
Yes, it does. Not only did he put 1 copy through my letterbox, he put 5.
Right.
We only need 1 per
I think he's trying to make a point.
I don't know what point he's trying to make.
Well, I think if you call up again, he's going to have you shot. Something like that.
Well, this particular postman is about to get sacked anyway for other offences.
Oh, you don't have anything to do with that, do you, Matthew?
Indirectly, yes.
Oh, no. Well, you know what postmen do when they're upset in America?
No idea.
Don't you? Do you know what going postal is in America?
No.
No one gets out alive. Well, the best of luck to you, Matthew. I'd keep your head down.
He should be doing his job properly.
Draw all of your curtains and don't answer the front door, all right? Cheers, mate. This is LBC 97.3. Let's go with Crawley, and it's a bloke called Tony. Seriously, how do you get people up on this board? It's just impossible. It's a touch screen, and I'm touching it. Listen, I'm touching it. Tony.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, mate.
Yeah, it's nice you're talking about the Post and the news.
No.
It's funny. I've just been watching the BBC News, and the last thing that they came out and said was the Post Office isn't ready for the changeover on Monday regarding the letters.
Let me get this. I don't want to talk about the Post all night, but
No,
I don't...
but hold on.
Hang on. Well, let me just ask you a question, all right? Because you seem to be knowledgeable.
Well, I'm not knowledgeable, but I do know that they tried to change their name to Consignia, and that didn't work. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And how many millions did that cost?
I've got no idea, mate. But listen, when See, I haven't received a letter, and I know they're going to charge for size and weight, but how are you supposed to know how much it weighs?
Oh, they were rattling on about something about 100 grams.
Right, well, unless you're a Coke dealer, how much do you know, how do you know how much that is?
I couldn't. It's not going to work. What'll happen with they're within a year or just over a year, it'll all swing back to how it was. If it works, change it. If it don't work, leave it alone. This is how we live today.
You seem upset about this, Tony.
Well, I'm upset. British Airways, they tried to pull more
Oh no, let's not bring that. Let's concentrate on the post just for a second, all right?
I ain't in that.
Before we start spraying all of Britain's companies. So at the moment, you go up and you buy first and second class stamps, right?
Well, that's how you used to, yeah.
At the moment, you do, and you stick them on a letter and you put them in the thing there. But now you have to weigh it. So that means that nothing you post, you'll be able to.
I don't know.
So can you imagine? I mean, what's the least attractive place to spend time? The post office, and the queues are going to be around the block.
Pushing everybody to queue, get aggroed.
Still, you've got a lot of time while you're in that queue to pick up some of those cheap plastic things that'll be on
because
sale.
You won't be able to buy your TV licence there anymore. That stopped as from July.
Well, you know what? All of this is probably a good thing. Nobody should use the post. You should all email everything, and then you won't have to spend any time in the post office at all.
Well, I don't know. Well, the only other reason why they could have been doing it, Nick, is because the letter side has dropped off drastically because all they're doing now is delivering stuff that people have been selling on eBay or something like that. It's all this, like, small parcel and packages.
All they're doing is delivering you a lot of stuff that you look at and then you throw straight in the
junk
bin.
mail.
Yeah.
Now, regarding the news...
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, BBC One and ITV, they've all got to have two newsreaders.
Yes.
At least Channel 4 and 5, to my knowledge, they only have the one reader.
What's going
wrong here now? They have to advertise to get customers.
I find it hilarious. The thing that I like doing when because your eyes automatically go to whoever's reading, and they'll switch in the middle of a sentence.
I know they do.
It's nonsensical. But if you look at the one who's not reading, because they're not making it up as they go along. They're reading the script off the front of the camera. That's why they can look into the camera and sound like they know what they're talking about. It's because they're reading it. It's all printed on the thing in the front. So the one who's not speaking is also reading it.
Yeah, because it then comes up to their name.
Exactly.
Go over to where they...
Yeah. And so they sort of adopt this sort of slack-jawed, dopey expression that they can't help because they're reading but they're not speaking and they're waiting for their turn to come around. It's just comical.
Well, can you answer me a truthful question?
I doubt it.
Please? I know, doubtful. Right. LBC have a 24-hour news programme, correct?
Is this a complaint about LBC?
It's not a complaint, but they have it's broadcasted on AM, I think. Am I correct?
Yes.
11:52.
Are you sure this isn't a complaint?
I only want to know is why do we have to have the news on every half hour on the talk programme rather than on the hour, which is nice, because they're only repeating what they've said.
Can you please put all your complaints on a piece of paper and take them to your post office? All right, Tony.
No, I've asked one of your colleagues about this. He's trying to do something about it as well.
Oh, right, OK. Well, then it's in his hands. But thanks a lot, mate. Ta-ra. Right. It was a complaint. I knew it.
Talk to me.
Hey, John.
Hello.
John.
Yes.
You're very distant.
Am I? Well, I'm trying not to be too friendly with people I haven't met, perhaps.
I didn't hear a word you just said.
I said, perhaps I try not to be too familiar with people I haven't met.
That's not the sort of distant I meant.
Oh,
I meant you sound like you're calling from the moon.
No, I'm calling from Hammersmith. That's probably the next best thing.
Hammersmith.
Driving along the Great West Road, coming in just over Hammersmith.
That's exactly what you should be doing in Hammersmith, leaving it.
Leaving it. I quite agree. I rather agree with that. Although I don't agree with much of what you've just been talking about.
Well, I doubt that you're a very good judge, then.
Well, I'm probably a very good judge, yes. I don't know. I've listened to your programme, not yours particularly, but to LBC for many, many years now, and I always thought it was, for its purposes there, was to help inform and also perhaps to entertain the good burghers of London. But I found that when you had a man on a few minutes ago who was trying to get some quite helpful news about, or information about something called Postwatch, which I've never heard of, and I have my own problems with the post office, I was astonished that all he wanted to do
Well, do you want to talk about Postwatch for the rest of the night?
Not for the rest of the night, but I just thought that he was making... I just switched over to LBC, perhaps mistakenly from Radio 3, and I thought that I was listening to something quite interesting, and I wasn't able to hear it because you kept putting him on.
Right, well, trust me, I did the right thing.
Trust you? So why should I trust you?
Are you driving and using the phone at the same time?
Well, on a hands-free, of course, yes.
Right.
And I wouldn't want to break the law. But what would I do? You chose the subject. Why would I need to trust you?
Actually, you do sound like a judge.
No, I'm not a judge, but I am able to string a few words together and talk quite a lot of sense and analyse problems and perhaps deal with them.
Right.
If I was a judge, would that matter?
I'd have a lot of questions.
Our judge is barred from telephoning your programme.
Boy, you really do have a bee in your bonnet, don't you, John?
No, I have a bee in my bonnet about people who I think actually do a job badly, and I thought you were doing a job quite badly a few minutes ago.
Right, well, you know what the best thing to do in that circumstance would be, instead of, like, calling up and complaining, is to just turn it off. Let me ask you this, John. John, calm down a second. Let me ask you this.
Yes, ask me.
Let me ask you this. If you were watching ITV, for instance, well, no, that seems unlikely. If you were watching Channel 4, and something came on that you didn't like, what would you do? Would you go to the phone and call Channel 4 and tell them that you didn't like it, or would you just change the channel?
If it was a phone-in programme, I'd phone them, of course. I mean, you are a phone-in programme. You are quite specifically requesting people to telephone you.
Yeah.
You know, that is the whole purpose of your programme.
No, but the purpose of your call is to tell me that you don't like the show. But that's kind of like a nuts thing to do. It's crazy. I mean, no sane person, if they were listening to Channel 4 or watching it, would, and if something came on they didn't like, well, they would rush to the phone and say, hang on a minute, this isn't right, I don't like it. So they just turned to BBC One. I don't get it. I don't get it, John. You're confusing me. And I don't think that hands-free actually works, because if it's, they're now going to stop you eating or drinking in the car while you're going along. And if that's enough to make you crash, I think that hands-free is also enough. I mean, he's like raising his voice, and he can't get a word in edgeways, and he sounds animated. So all of his concentration isn't on driving. It's not a safe thing to do, John. Maybe you should pull over next, and he's still talking. He's not listening to a word. Oh, dear, never mind. I don't think I was particularly unkind or unfair. That guy who called about the Post, he left happy, right? Nodding doesn't work on the radio.
He also called back to let you know that there are 455 grams in a kilo.
Right. See, there, he left happy, John. You're the only person who's not happy around here. So bite me.
Thank you for saying that.
He just sounded like a permanent, persistent complainer. Like he's probably never said a positive word in his entire life.
A vexatious complainant.
A vexatious complainant is the correct answer. That's excellent use of both of those words, I'd say. And that's the kind of phrase that he would come out with.
Where are you calling
Absolutely.
from?
I'm not sure I know what it means.
Sounding
but,
like it fitted perfectly. I wonder if he's still speaking.
Who?
Yes. Get off the phone, John, and keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road ahead, because I wouldn't want you to crash. Well, we're taking a break? No, we're not taking a break. Let's go with Javit. Oh, God, not another one. You've got to be joking. Stick him up, and I'll... Oh, it's a complaint about... Hey, John. He's still speaking. Amazing. Hey, John, we have a complaint about you. Do you want to hear it?
Good, I'm delighted to hear it.
All right. What the hell's that? What have you just done there? You put both of them up.
Yeah, use the other fader.
No, I don't want to speak to John anymore. John can listen in the comfort of his own car. He should get off hands-free. Let's have Javit. Hey, Javit.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, I think I prefer talking to John. Are you kidding?
Yeah. No, sorry. I have a bit of jamming problem, that's why.
Oh, okay. Carry on.
Actually, I want to just talk about the guy who was talking earlier about, who was driving a car and then talking about LBC 97.3. It's not a good channel. Actually, to be honest, I don't think so. I just tuned the channel for the last couple of days, but since then, I'm just listening to it because it's a very good channel. I mean, there are lots of different topics on it, and
different presenters, but I mean, there's something every time. At the end of the day, there's something good coming up.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot, Javed. We don't. I mean, I appreciate it, but we don't need protecting from members of the general public. I think we can do that ourselves. But thanks, mate. I appreciate it. He leapt to our defence. I think that I could defend myself against John, both literally and figuratively. Here's a mobile. Oh God, this is probably going to end in disaster. Called MC Blizzard. Is that right?
Yeah. Hello, I just wanted to complain about the person complaining about you.
This will be the topic for the rest of the night. The person who complained about me.
Yeah, I think LBC is a great programme, and I respect every single person that does a show on here. I think they're great.
Every single second of it. Is your name MC Blizzard?
Blizzard.
Blizzard.
Yeah.
Oh right, that makes much more sense. And what's the MC for?
Oh, just my little rap name. My little rap thing. Yeah.
Right. And do you do this professionally?
No, I'm just that's just the name I call myself when I come on the radio, because I listen to Ian's show quite a lot. And I just wanted to say that I've been listening to you. I think you're pretty cool.
MC Blizzard. See, I'm confused about this.
Okay.
You're a white boy, right?
Yeah.
And do you have? It seems that white boys these days have a fervent desire to be black.
No. I just like making rhymes and raps and stuff.
And do you have a rhyme or rap for us right now? I mean, let me expand on what I just meant. Is they dress black? They dress. It's not just they don't just dress black. They dress L.A. criminal black. That's what the jeans hanging underneath your underwear is, because in jail in the States, and probably here too, they take your belt away, so your trousers fall down, and so if you've not got a belt on, it looks like you've been in prison. Thereby, you are hard, and that's what that is. It's nuts, isn't it? I mean, it's nuts that they do it in the States, but it's even doubly nuts that middle-class white boys want to look like American black criminals. I don't get it.
It's your opinion, isn't it?
Well, it's the fact, Jack.
Huh?
It's the facts, Jack.
Not really.
It is. That's what that belt, that no belt look is.
I don't.
Trust me.
I don't see myself as somebody who wants to be a black person.
Right. But you call yourself MC Blizzard.
Yeah.
Let me just take a show of hands. If you thought, guys in there, if you hadn't heard this guy, and I said we're going to have someone called MC Blizzard coming in the show a little later on, then would you think they were black or white? Hands up for black. That's eventually it was 2 hands up for black. But Blizzard is the giveaway, mind you.
Yeah, well, okay.
It being white, yeah. So give us a rap then. You got a rap for us?
All right then.
What's it about?
Okay, I'll just it's sort of a slow rap about the world and it's
about the world.
Yeah, but I just
You mean the state of everything that's going on right now?
Yeah.
Is this going to be depressing?
It could be.
How long does it last?
I don't know, but I'll just make it up as I go.
Okay. And making it up as he goes along, it's MC Blizzard.
I actually thought I was going to go to a producer, and I...
Was that it?
No. Anyway, here's my rap, right. Alright, here we go. Alright, here we go. I'm just...
It sounds like you're getting set up to do a high jump or something. I mean, it's just words. Go ahead. Blind me.
Yeah. MC Blizzard, here we go, yeah. Countries going to war to try and even the score. Units are deployed just because one MP gets uptight and annoyed, and the things going on ain't right. Why can't the extremists drop their guns and see the light? Why can't you just act calmly and live in peace and perfect harmony? But
hang on a minute, you're not making this up as you go along, you've rhymed every line.
Yeah, no, I remembered it, I memorised it.
And how long does it last?
As long as my... Well.
As long as you can keep it going.
Yeah.
All right. You've got, I can't believe I'm going to let you do this, but you've got just over a minute.
Okay. Here we go. I'll start from the beginning.
No! All right, start from the beginning. You can't start from the middle, right? Because you'll lose your thread. Oh, God.
Okay,
I
right.
shouldn't have stopped him, should I?
My credit's going down here, Rolly. Okay, right. Yeah.
Hey, with any luck, he'll run out of credit and he'll cut himself off before I have to. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. Yeah, man's going to war. Yeah, that's...
Can you do this without talking like an American black man? Just do it in your normal accent.
That's good, buddy, because you're really starting to annoy me.
I think the reason I'm starting to annoy him is because I'm telling the truth. Yeah, yo. Okay, MC Blizzard. No, he doesn't want to be an American black man at all. No, I was completely wrong there. I was way off. I couldn't have been less right. Hey, you know, Baghdad's running out of oil. Baghdad is running out of oil. I mean, that's all that Baghdad is, right? It's a great sea of sand on top of a giant pool of oil, and they're running out. They're queuing out of the petrol stations, and they're spending like 36 hours in the queue for petrol in Baghdad. Oh, I'll tell you more about that story as we come back, and there's just no end of good stuff. Of course, John will be complaining about, I didn't listen to LBC to hear about stories about Baghdad.
On F.
So we got through the first hour without being shot or stabbed. I think it almost deserves a round of applause all round. And no further stories about the planes. Is everything okay now at Heathrow? I felt like, because I'm going on holiday in maybe January, so I felt like doing last week's show from Heathrow, so that it might be a good idea to start queuing now. The security... No one has been charged with anything, by the way. Does anyone want to take up my bet from last week that every single one of them will be released without charge? Another colossal failure from the police and the Home Office. You can make that louder. I like this music. You've got something against Liberace, Elliot? There's nothing wrong with Liberace.
I never knew him that well.
I bet you didn't. So the security level has been downgraded from... to...
Oh, no!
And does everyone feel much better? Much safer?
No!
No. Not really. In fact, we feel exactly the same as before they put up the security level to let's all run around with our hands in the air and freak out. This is kind of what they did in America, for what they've been doing for a little while, is because in the States they have different security levels. They go up to DEFCON 1, or that's nukes, isn't it? But they have something similar to that, and they're forever... Oh, they have colours, don't they? It's red and green and blue, and they're changing it every 2 weeks, and and the reason why they do that, I think, is because if you keep people scared, then they will run to mummy or daddy for succour and to take care of them. And mummy and daddy, in this case, are our leaders. So if you can score and rule by keeping everyone fearful. It's part of... in fact, there was a couple of documentaries on a little while ago. With very bad timing, just before the thing at 7/7, that said basically it's all completely made up, this terrorist threat, and it's all a plot by those who rule us, just to keep us cowering and dependent on them for support. But I think that there is a little... Because what is the point of telling us, really, that everyone should freak out now? What do they call it? What's the security level thing? It's completely gone from my mind. What do they call that?
Severe, isn't it, at the moment?
Severe. Is that what they call it? See, that's
so.
Such a British thing to call it, severe. One should take extra precautions. In what sense? What, like not leaving the flat? Or not going to work? You can't do any... You've got to carry on, right? I mean, you're suspicious of everyone who gets on the tube with a rucksack, but that's everyone.
Probably a good time to trade in your club card points. Yeah. Get a big shop in.
Take all of the money out of the bank and keep it under the bed. Yeah. But there's nothing you can do, so why bother telling us? Oh, we're just checking the Home Office website, and the Home Office website says that the current threat level is severe. An explanation of what this means in terms of a terrorist attack is set out below. It doesn't mean anything, because let's face it, has British intelligence actually... do they have your confidence?
So it's really a bit like the weather, because you have a severe flood or a severe snowstorm. So maybe they're
Oh,
basing
here
it
we are
on that.
back at MC Blizzard.
That's what I was just thinking, yeah. Although when I first read that, I did actually think he was Scottish. I thought he was Muck Blizzard.
Yes.
Maybe
that's
it's just
where,
me.
Yeah, that's where he went wrong. He, instead of going for an LA rap star, he should have gone much nearer to home. I mean,
Award-winning lyrics, though, you have to
Scotland's-
agree.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Oh, let's not get back to the Scottish thing. I'll get more complaints.
Scotland's only 300 miles away. LA is 3,000 miles away. Or in fact, it's 6, isn't it? 6,000 miles away. Yeah, it's you're trying too far. Here's Vicky in Croydon. What is the secret of this touch screen, by the way? I'm touching and touching, and finally. Hey, Vicky.
Hello.
Hey, Vicky. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Vicky.
Oh, very good. That was fantastic.
Glad you liked it.
Yeah, no, it was lovely. Thank you. Yeah, the terrorist threat. It is a bit silly, really, isn't it?
In what sense?
In the severe and not severe, and they're going to get us tomorrow kind of sense.
Vicky, could you do me a favour and walk to the window or something?
Not by the window.
You're already by the window. Could you hang out of the window without putting yourself in any danger?
Well, I just leave my blinds.
Oh, the blinds is probably what's doing it.
Why?
I don't know. You're coming in through like this. It sounds like the moon landing here.
Phone's being tapped.
That's
My
exactly
phone's
what that is, Vicky.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I'm on a hands-free digital phone.
Oh, they're great. You know, I heard that the hands-free digital, because I used to have one of those. Well, in fact, I had a home filled with them, because you can wander around. They're excellent, right? Come to find out that it's actually like having a mobile phone mast in your house. You're being drenched with waves that may or may not be giving you a tumour the size of a golf ball just behind your
That
ear.
really pleases me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really glad about that.
Even when you're not using the phone, you're being drenched,
Oh, that's even better.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's better. That's so much better. You don't have to go to hospital for X-rays, then, do you?
That's right. Yes.
You just do it
All you need is a
from
Polaroid. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I think that's brilliant. Actually.
And in a few months' time, they'll realise that those Wi-Fi waves, you know, those wireless, that wireless.
I've got a wireless computer.
Yeah, yeah.
as well.
Oh, blimey.
Hey.
You're lucky to be alive, Vicky.
Just one great big walking tumour.
Exactly.
Yeah. I did like MC Blizzard, by the way.
He was great.
But, yeah, but you're right about the ghetto talk.
It's just irritating. Well, it's not
it's
irritating.
really
It's
annoying.
just, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's comical, really. That white middle-class boys want to be black
ghetto kids.
Black ghetto kids from LA. It's like,
Yeah. Well,
you're not even close.
My children do it as well.
Hmm.
And I laugh at them and say, "Are you from the ghetto?" And they just stop doing it. So, yeah, but a lot of kids talk that way now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they do. And you laugh at your children, but see, I guess they're doing it in order to irritate you, not to amuse you.
My son's only 9.
Right. Well, you
Yeah.
just wait.
Oh, God, it's going to get worse, isn't it?
Much, much worse from now on, yeah.
Yeah, but he does it, and then I take the mickey out of him, laugh at him, and say, "You're from the ghetto," and he stops it, and he doesn't do it for the rest of the day.
Right.
Yeah. It's
See, in 4 years' time, he'll leave and slam the door. You'll say, "Where are you going?" He'll say, "Out." He'll go and nick a car and do a ram raid on a jeweller's shop, something like that. You've got all that to look
carjacking.
forward to.
Not a carjacking. I'm kind of aiming for a carjacking. I think that'd be better.
Right.
Yeah.
Aim for the stars, Vicky.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can do it in style.
So what's he going to be? What have you got what have you got him picked out as being?
What, my children?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I think if my son thought he could be a professional footballer, he'd go for it.
Right.
He wants to be a pharmacist.
What?
Yeah.
He's 9?
And he wants to be a pharmacist. I think that's quite sweet, really.
I'd be very suspicious. He wants to be a drug dealer at the age of 9 years old.
Yeah, well, it's the ghetto talk, isn't it?
It sounds like the front page of the News of the World to me.
And my daughter, I think she wants to work with children, bless her.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what she's actually going to do, but she wants to work with children. And she's very good with little children as well. So.
Does she have a little dolly?
Well, she's 11, so she's getting a little bit old for that. And she's just starting high school, and if I mentioned dollies now, I think she'd be hideously embarrassed. So.
I heard the other day, now this might not be true, I find it hard to believe, but they have, what is it, Barbie, right? Barbie has a dog, and you put little, you feed it on little pellets, and then you take it for a walk, and it does its business.
Nice.
Can you? And then Barbie herself has got a pooper scooper. That's
lovely.
That's just revolting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's vile. Yeah.
Why would any child want that? I mean, presumably these things come in a variety of forms, like Action Man does. You have, I don't really know anymore, but you have Cowboy Action Man and Sailing Action Man and...
Well, my daughter had a...
Don't Ask, Don't Tell Action Man.
My daughter had a baby born, and you feed them food and they poo. And they have proper little nappies, which you then have to go and buy loads more of.
Can you understand the attraction of this? Like,
Not really.
Why would anybody... I don't get it.
Well, I don't get it. I mean, I suppose it's all all this sort of reality stuff and, getting them ready for life and all that.
That's a little bit too much reality.
It's a bit, isn't it?
Awful.
Doing toys. Yeah, but, that's not so good. I certainly wouldn't want to clear up the doggy doo-doos.
Now, presumably, you've only just managed to get the smell off you, so that's not anything that you want to be reminded of straight away, right?
Yeah, it's taken 11 years. Yeah, and finally don't have the white marks down my shoulders and stuff.
Nice.
It's lovely. It's really very nice.
Little too much information, Vicky.
Yeah, sorry about that. But
Anyway, you got, another 30 years before you'll be able to sit back and relax.
Oh, is it 30? Oh, my God.
You'll be able to open a bottle of wine and spark up a cigar in 30 years' time.
I'll just open the bottle of wine and spark up a fag now.
Do
I
it
think.
now, yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, just forget it and, just go with the flow.
Exactly. All right, well, listen, thanks a lot, Vicky.
Cheers.
All right, ta-ra.
Bye.
This is LBC. Oh, Marie.
Hello.
Hey, Marie.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, Nick?
I'm all right, thanks.
Yeah, 'cause you seem like you're a bit grumpy tonight.
Do I? Having a fine time.
Really?
Yeah.
In the first hour, you were really quite horrible to about at least 3 or 4 callers.
Nonsense.
Yeah, you sort of chewed them up and spat them out.
Well, only if they
Worried
deserved
myself.
it.
Do you think so? Poor old MC Blizzard. I felt sorry for him. I really felt sorry for him.
Yeah, he was so offended, he just tried to call back.
He's quite sweet.
He wasn't full of flavour, that's why Nick chewed him up and spat him out.
I didn't really get it, but I kind of felt that, he got a bit of a hard time. And I just want you to feel free to have a go at me at any point during this
I
call.
seriously doubt I'm going to do that,
I
Marie.
don't think so.
No. I only have a go at people if they deserve it.
All right. Well, I'll try not to deserve it. But you do. You sound a bit like the old schoolmaster tonight.
Right.
Ooh.
I'll rein myself in.
Yeah. Try hard. I wanted to call about postmen and post deliveries.
Yeah.
We have quite a hard time with that round where I live, and I think probably it's something that everybody across the country can probably relate to, but maybe more so in London. We've had post which has gone missing, and companies have sworn blind that they've sent it to us, and we've never received it. And in fact, now I'm having to go to litigation with one company. Because
Exactly. Yes. I just mentioned that. I'm being threatened.
I'm suing them.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
But I'm being threatened with legal action from a company that says that they've sent me stuff. They've demanded money from me.
Yeah.
Repeatedly, they say.
Yeah.
And they say, right, that's it. We've had it. We're suing you. And so I sent them a letter. This was the mistake I made. I sent them a letter back saying, what? And they'll never get it. So next
No, they won't. They won't
next
ever
week's show will be from prison.
Exactly. I have to say that it's for 5 months now I've been chasing this company for a cheque. They definitely owe me. And they say they sent it out in May, and I've never received it. And I said, well, just cancel it and issue another one.
Yeah.
And they're so rubbish that right now, here we are, nearly at the end of August, not far, like 10 days to the end of August, and they still haven't been able to reissue this cheque. So I have issued a claim form, and I'm awaiting their defence, and I will read that with interest, because I'll be very interested to find out.
Here's my
why
prediction.
They haven't paid this blinking money.
Right, here's my prediction. You'll get up to the point at which you show up at court, but not actually entering into the building, and they'll pay you at the very last minute. I guarantee it.
Well, I'd like to think so, but I will say that it's been an extremely long trudge from what is a very big company. And it's surprising that they've got so much time to waste. But I do blame, at the end of the day, if they really just send this cheque out, I do blame the post office. But, the company's rubbish anyway for not being able to reissue another cheque. So they're all rubbish. In fact, there's so many companies in this country that are rubbish.
That's true,
I
yeah.
could spend a very long time ripping them to shreds.
Yeah, and I'd help you. And then we could douse them in petrol and set them alight. Yeah.
You know what? It's tempting. It really is.
But
when it comes to the terrorist threat, Nick, I was thinking about this. No, you mentioned it earlier on, and Vicky mentioned it as well, and I was just thinking about it just now, and I actually think that I'm much more in danger on a tube or on a bus from somebody's rucksack in terms of when they swing round and hit you in the head with it.
People don't seem to understand that when you get into a crowded environment, you have to take your rucksack off.
Yeah, well, they just don't, do they? They have it swing on one shoulder because we've just got to be casual, haven't we? So we have it hanging from one shoulder, and then we don't care about the person who might be sitting down. You know, lucky you if you manage to get a seat in the rush hour, and then you nearly get your head, just whomped off when they turn round and swing it into your head.
That's interesting.
Or like the other day, I got it. This guy turns round and he scratches all down my arm with his bag as he sort of swings it round on his shoulder.
Oh, you poor baby.
Yeah, I was, and it was very, very painful.
Don't you find it interesting? You can tell whether people are British or not by the way that they wear their rucksacks, because British people will not ever put both straps over each shoulder. Always over one.
Casual. It's all down to, also, this is something to do with the way people are speaking and how you just can't, you mustn't be seen not to be dropping your H's these days, must you?
Well, that goes back a long way, and I think that's partly...
It does. I used to get the what taken out of me at school because I didn't used to drop my H's. It's just
I think the key is that it's not cool to be smart in this country, and it never has been. I mean, if you pay attention in school, you're a swot.
That's it. That's exactly right. And you've got to be cool, and you've got to be chilled, and you must, a certain way of speaking and a certain way you've got to be. And, if you show any kind of excitement about anything or interest, then it's just not cool, is it?
Yeah.
It's not Big Brother, is it? Which really did make me worry. I saw 5 minutes of that the other day, and I thought, oh, dear. We've really, really slipped, yeah. Anybody who's watching that, get a life.
Oh, it's over. But
I know you were one of them.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Marie. I hope that scratch really hurt.
Yeah, it did actually. But having said that, it's given me a great deal of amusement to know that you've been watching it and wasting your time.
Yeah, I know. I'm wasting my life. Dripping away.
Exactly.
But, yes, that should be the rule. Stand on the right. Please stand on the right, and please take the rucksack off before you get on the tube, and then put it on the floor.
Or else Marie will sort you out. Or Nick, which is even more scary.
Well, I don't know. I think you're coming over way more scary than me right now. See how super nice I'm being?
No, I'm not even trying.
Exactly. All right, listen, thanks a lot, Marie.
Bye.
Ta-ra. What a nice lady, eh? I couldn't have been more nice if I'd bent over backwards. It's Robert from the Rhondda.
Darling.
Hey, Rob.
How are you?
All right.
I've had my title for a long time. I feel privileged. Thank you very much.
All right.
I also feel like Richard from Big Brother. Anyway, it's a special little boy's birthday this week, isn't it?
Hey, it is,
Nicholas Ian Abbott, you'll be 46.
I will.
Near 50. Almost near death.
Thanks.
All for you. Enjoy it. Any plans?
Yes. Tomorrow, I'm gonna go and see the Rolling Stones.
Rock and roll! Ah.
And,
almost your age, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm gonna be right up the front, too. I'll be able to count the lines on his face.
So, all that money you made from last week working non-stop, you're gonna spend tomorrow night?
No, I'm spending nothing.
Oh, it's free.
I work in the business, mate.
Oh, of course, yes, you work for the station.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, enjoy that.
I will. I saw them last in 19... It was either 1978 or 1982. It was the year that they brought out that live album, and they were rubbish. It was awful. I saw them in Wembley Stadium. I couldn't get within about 3 miles of them, and they didn't put on any kind of show, and it was just this old geezer running up and down with his great lips flapping in the wind, and I thought, oh, this is awful, because it was in the middle of the punk era, 78, right? It was just at the fag end of punk, and all the gigs that I went to see then were tiny little places where you'd get up the front. That was the key thing. As a teenager, you'd want to be up the front, right? You didn't want to be at the back with your binoculars. That was old person's territory, and I just thought they were rubbish. But I'm actually quite excited about this, because I saw the Who at Hyde Park a little while ago. You remember they had the... Oh, of course, you were in the Rhondda. Got no idea what I'm talking about.
I was there, yeah.
Everybody else in London knows what Hyde Park is, and... they had the Who and Roger Waters of the Floyd. They had a couple of gigs there, and I went to the Who. It was another freebie, Natch, and I hadn't seen them since 1976. And they were phenomenal in '76, but just now, I had such a great time. I thought, well, you know what? The Who might be good. The Stones might be good too. So I'll give them a go.
Well, the Scissor Sisters are doing a free gig in Trafalgar Square soon, so go and watch that.
Yeah.
They're all right.
Yeah, exactly. They're all right. I think the first album was okay for a little while. I mean, for a couple of weeks there, it was amusing, but then since then, not much.
Well, it's coming out next month. I kind of look forward to it.
I literally can wait.
But I ain't buying it.
You're going to nick it.
I'm a huge fan. No, I can't afford it.
You're going to download it.
Oh, illegally off the internet, you say? How
That would
dare you.
never happen, right?
No. Anyway, yeah, so you saw Big Brother. Now, little as anybody outside Wales, unless they have digital, will know that...
So all of Wales was behind Glyn, right? They had a special programme in Welsh.
Absolutely
Right.
ridiculous last night. S4C, for those you don't know, it's a... you pay for a Channel 4 in Welsh here in Wales.
That nobody actually wants, right?
The only programmes people watch are the English shows on Channel 4.
Yeah.
Which are normally showed a week after everyone else has seen them.
And before we have a lot of complaints about me saying bad things about Welsh people, the other half of me that's not Scottish is Welsh. I'm half Scottish, half Welsh.
Born in England.
Yeah, I was born in England, yeah.
You're British.
I am British. There's none more British than me.
Governor. Yeah, so, what was I on about? Oh, yeah, so S4C last night, and for generally the BBC Wales and ITV Wales, just gone completely Glyn mad all week.
Yeah.
Last night they had, like, what could only be described as if Wales had won the World Cup pre the result. So everyone was watching that awful 9 out of 10 cast. We had a live gig, huge, massive festival in Blaenau Festiniog, where Glyn comes from, and we had Welsh folk hero David Ewan. No, I've never heard of him as well. He was there reading out his poem to Glyn and how he's achieved all this thing for the Welsh language.
He wrote a poem for Glyn.
No, I'm not using that for comical effect.
Was it something like...
Where the hell are my Judy Garland records, damn it?
This man used to be chairman or president of Plaid Cymru, so I believe he hasn't got a clue who Glyn is. And then they had Rodri Morgan read out this speech for him, or send this message in of thanks. And
Right, remind us, who's Rodri Morgan?
Rodri Morgan is the First Minister of Wales. Not to be confused with the Prime Minister of Wales, because that position doesn't exist.
The First Minister of Wales.
Yeah.
Right. Is he doing a tremendous job?
I met him. There was here we go again. There was me and him. I was doing this thing at the Labour Party conference in Wales because I wanted the money. So I was there and I was looking out the door where all the guest speakers are coming in and out. So the day before, Tony Blair was there. Very nice, civilised. And then Rodri Morgan, who don't know, just one man with wild hair, who normally insults people on TV. And he was standing. It was me and him for about 5 minutes. He was standing 2 foot away from me. He would not acknowledge or speak to me in this entire time, so I'd come out hating him. So
You were talking to him and he was ignoring you.
Well, I was looking at him going, all right. You know, I don't bow and scrape to these people.
So in answer to my question, is he doing a great job? You're probably saying no. Right.
I worked on the Assembly for a while, so you get to see the politicians, you know.
In action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man of the people, he ain't.
Right.
Anyway, what I was going to talk about... First of all, last night, you watched the final, I presume.
Yes.
Did you get in the whole mood of the film? Did you get, like, excited, or was like...
No, because as I've been watching this thing, although I've been watching it every day and was hooked, I'll admit it, I do maintain a kind of detachment, realising that it's extraordinarily silly, and lately it's been pretty boring, let's face it.
Yeah, that's true. But the best thing about Big Brother, and it's not really connected to Big Brother, it just happens to have his name, is Big Brother's Big Mouth, that Russell Brand guy.
Yeah, people have been talking to me about this guy, and I only saw him really for the first time last night, and he was quite shocking. Right off the bat, his programme must have had an audience at least double what he would normally enjoy, because it was the final, and that nice Davina lady said, let's go and watch this. And so I did, and he was quite staggeringly rude right off the bat, and I was shocked. I thought, blimey, this the nice audience, the general audience that's tuning over from Channel 4, their teeth are going to be on the floor.
Well, the thing about last night was he's been kind of insinuating all these things he was saying last night, but last night he just obviously went, "Sod it, at the end of the show I'll do it." So that's why all these things came out, so to speak. But the best thing about our show, I think, is the man dressed as a horse, Rosebud. I thought, hilarious. It might be me, but a man dressed as a horse in a tweed jacket and a posh voice, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I think it is you.
And here's a programme idea for TV, since the news coming up. John McCurrick to get his own TV chat show.
Why was John McCrick on that programme? I mean, he's one of the most repellent people I've ever seen on television.
Well, John McCurrick was on Celebrity Big Brother 2 years ago.
Why was that smart guy on there? The journalist who often comes up
Paul Morley.
Yeah, whenever a pop star dies, we go immediately to Paul Morley or Paul Gambaccini.
And you know who the comedy equivalent of that is? Barry Cryer. Who will speak for Barry Cryer when he dies? Anyway.
Is he still alive?
He is still alive. Every person, Kenny Everett, Benny, anybody.
All of the good people are dead. Barry Cryer's still alive.
Barry Cryer, on me later.
Everyone's thrilled.
Go to Barry Cryer. Oh, they were wonderful. Oh, behind the scenes, just like on stage. Blah, blah, blah. Barry Cryer dies. I'd love to see who speaks for him. Anyway, Paul Morley's there because he's like a cultural commentator. He likes to think of himself as.
Right, he probably hasn't been on TV in a while. That's why he was there. His agent called him up and said, "Sorry about this, Paul, but at least it's television."
And all this snobby attitude towards Big Brother has been, I watched Sky News today, and this man was saying, "But this year was really a freak show, wasn't it?" And I was thinking, you haven't watched this show, have you?
All freak shows.
This year was relatively normal compared to what's usually been.
Really? Well, I refuse to watch any more.
Anyway,
That's my position today.
John McCurrick was on there because he was a contestant, and he's really funny when he gets going, but obviously kept him away from the mic last night.
Good.
He's on Wife Swap soon with Edwina Curry.
There's a match made in hell.
That's one to watch.
Anyway, listen, Rob, it's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot, mate. Ta-ra. Happy birthday to me. Yes, we'll go away to come back. So none of those people have been charged with anything yet, right? Not a single one of them. And they're... how long is it before we're up to, 28 days? It must be getting soon, right?
Can't be too far off, can it? It's been a while.
So does anyone want to take that bet? They'll all get released without charge? No?
Still no, I'm afraid.
All
No,
right.
you're on your own.
I'll ask you next week.
Depends on what the odds are. You haven't told us what the odds are.
Just evens. Like either I win or you win. You're not happy. But do we feel much better now that the security threat level is down to...
severe.
Don't panic, or whatever it is. Severe, yeah. Here's the problem with airline security. There is no security. Here's the problem with security in general. There is no security for anything. Not now, not ever, never. Not at all. I mean, El Al have been pretty successful. Anyone ever flown with El Al? Hands up in the back who's flown with El Al. I have. I flew with El Al when I went to Tel Aviv, which is a lovely place, by the way. Lovely people. They're particularly good looking. I think they're, it doesn't often come across on TV, but they're a phenomenally good looking race. I mean, I'd put them up there with the Dutch. But that's by the by. But, I went to, and I arrived at the time, as per normal, late. And, for El Al, at the time, you had to check in 3 hours ahead of time. And I would often check in a half an hour before I'd be running up to the desk to try and make it before they closed the flight, half an hour before it left. And this shock wave of stunned disbelief went through the departure lounge that I even had the temerity to show up at all. I couldn't believe that I would show up this late. And a bloke with a clipboard came up and started asking me a lot of questions, like, normal sort of questions like, where have you come from, where do you work, where do you live? And then he'd throw in bizarre ones like, what's your favourite colour? And what did you eat this morning? And just weird, off-the-wall things, like, what's your favourite TV programme? And what? And I played along, because you don't want to get irritated with someone, who could stop you from going on holiday. And I thought, after about half an hour of questions, I thought, oh, well, blimey, that was a bit strenuous, but at least I'll be getting on with the plane now. And he went away, and they huddled and passed comments in amongst them while looking at me over their shoulders every now and again. And then someone else with a clipboard came along and asked me more or less the same questions over again, with a lot of new impertinent questions thrown in there. And I thought, good grief, is this what you've got to go through to get on a plane? But you know what? On that plane, I felt totally safe. More so than any other plane I've ever flown on. I mean, there is always that, an act of God might send you crashing to Earth, but at least I didn't think that anyone on the plane might.
I must admit, when I've flown to America, I always find those cards that you actually have to fill in very, very strange when they ask you, have you ever been involved in terrorism? Have you ever made bomb? I mean, oh, yes.
Right, you tick those
You're going to tick that box, yeah.
Of course, yeah. They turn around mid-flight. No, it's got a bit crazy, and lately we've had stories like people have... There's this woman who had a fear of enclosed spaces. Of course, she shouldn't have got on a plane in the first place, but she started to freak out mid-flight, and they restrained her, but then had to land immediately. Why? Why on earth did they have to do that? It's as though they've just gone sort of power crazy. And the slightest little thing that they don't like, they'll have you arrested and thrown in prison. If you ask for one too many ice cubes, they'll lock you to your seat. It's gone nuts. And here's the problem with airport security. And a lot of people aren't going to like this, but it's true. The problem with airport security is the people who are airport security. Think, who are they? Who would choose, out of all the jobs in the whole wide world, if they had the choice of a lot of different occupations, to stand in a grey area with a lot of tired, rushed, fearful and irritated people going by them in a long queue, looking at a screen with x-rays of bags. One after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, for hour after endless hour. What are those people? What's the pool of those people? It's the people who failed the exam to get into the police force. Basically, it's people who don't have much of a choice.
You know what I think they should do, though, as entertainment, because obviously we've all had situations where we've been hanging around in lounges and the plane's been delayed and it's been hours and hours and hours. To actually have a big plasma screen and actually put the images of those cases going through, you'd probably miss your flight out of interest, but what an interesting idea.
What would be better is if, because they can photograph you now without your clothes on. As you go through the scanner, they've got this machine that removes your clothes and can take a picture of you in the naughty naked nude while you're wearing clothes. Isn't that great? They used to give away those glasses in comics, you remember? X-ray specs. In fact, the band named themselves after just such a thing. And but it actually exists now. Wouldn't that be excellent? If while you're waiting for the plane,
yeah, I think that would be great. I mean, you would be transfixed by that, wouldn't you? If you had an airport lounge, you would get the front seat by the big plasma screen, watching people's suitcases and what was in them.
In fact, if Channel 4 are listening to this right now, I'm selling that to you as a programme idea. It could run forever. And once, it could run for 6 months, and then for the 6 months that it's not on, we could just have a camera in Topshop changing room, and the audience would be through the roof. Let's have a call in South Norwood. Hello, Philip.
Oh, good evening, Nick. Just talk about tonight, compilation records. What's your favourite compilation record?
That's an excellent question. I've got no idea.
Oh, I was looking down the shop today, and most of them nowadays seem to feature records that were released in the last 6 months, sort of That's Music 9,000.
Right, well, you don't ever want to buy one of those.
Why?
Ever.
Well, because you already got them, or what?
No, you just... Do you ever listen to those back again?
No, I mean, I wouldn't myself. I wouldn't buy them, but I just wondered why you said that.
Because it's just the worst thing to... People who buy those music compilations are people who don't like music.
Yeah. They just sort of... They think they've got to have them.
Yes.
The compilations that I like, and I've got made a list of a few, are the ones where they've got a special theme to the compilation. I'm thinking particularly, there's one of the Beatles... in which various country artists have covered Beatles songs.
That sounds horrific.
Well, I don't know if you like country music, do you?
Well, you know, some is all right. I wouldn't want to listen to it for the rest of my life.
No, and there's another country one where they did the Beach Boys. They did the songs of the Beach Boys.
That sounds worse. I mean, country Beatles is you could just about get by without wanting to stab yourself in the ear, but country, oh no.
Actually, it's called Stars and Stripes, and for me it's a particularly good compilation.
Right.
There's another one called Rhythm and Country. Now this is where they've taken rhythm and blues artists and put them with country artists. And, for example, they put Tanya Tucker and Little Richard together, and they sing the Eddie Cochran song, Something Else.
Well, you know, I've got a lot of time for Little Richard, and Tanya Tucker I don't really know, but it sounds fantastic.
And and another one, Sam Moore, and Conway Twitty, the late Conway Twitty, and it's probably one of the terrific songs, Rainy Night in Georgia.
Well, I like anyone whose last name is Twitty.
Yes, real name Harold Jenkins. The other ones that mentioned, have you heard of Dr. Demento?
Yes. He's a DJ, runs a show in America, and he plays a lot of wacky tracks.
Yeah. And those, I've got two of their compilations. One's a Christmas one.
Unlistenable, I bet.
Oh, no, it's got some classics on it, Graham. I've got Run Over by a Reindeer, by Elmo and Patsy, and a wonderful song by the Three Stooges. Do you know who the Three Stooges are?
Of course.
Yeah, and they do a version of Deck the Halls called Wreck the Halls. And they end up completely...
Comedy classic, The Three Stooges. The poor man's Marx Brothers.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very, very good description of them. And another one they've got, a country comedy records, they've got... there's one called Achy Breaky Heart by Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, which it probably just sounds as bad as the original.
It does. And one other one, if I can mention it, Nick, is called Radio Bloopers. It's the legend Dick Clark, the American disc jockey, host, and he put together an LP of bloopers that were recorded from American talk radio, but that is great as well.
Right, can you send me that?
I tell you what, I'll make a copy. Actually, I've got one set up for you just to give you an idea. This is
I felt that you might.
This is a news broadcast. And I hope it's not too risque.
You know what? I think I know what's coming.
Well, no, see if you can have a listen. Yeah, I'll tell you who it is. It's a couple of guys called Bob Arthur and Ken Minard.
Oh, they're very good.
Yeah.
Well, a newsboy's testimony that he had seen an anatomy professor and his wife perform a sexual act has resulted in the professor being charged with involuntary manslaughter. Seems the last time they tried it, well, this gets very complicated. The last time they tried it, the rope slipped from the wife's ankle and she fell to her death. Go ahead, Ken. Washington.
Okay.
Right. Not so much a blooper, just an awful tale of death.
The blooper sort of... I didn't know how much you wanted to hear, but afterwards they sort of...
Oh, you cut out the funny bit?
Well, no, not really. No, it's just a case that they can't carry on.
And they start laughing?
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the funny bit, Philip. You cut that part out. Blimey. We need to put you on a course.
Well,
Radio R101. Don't cut out the funny bit.
Oh, well...
Send it to me, Philip, and I'll use it. All right.
Well, I'll make it has to be on... because I'm not really into burning things. It'll have to be on an audio cassette. Is that okay?
A cassette? No one in this world uses a cassette anymore. You joking?
Oh, I know. I still do. No,
I want it on CD and I want it in stereo. Can you do that for me?
Oh, no, I'm afraid not.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you the audio cassette, and then you can...
I'll burn it and I'll send it back to you.
Well, no, I'll make a copy of it, and then you can do whatever you want with it.
I can, yeah, well, that's pretty rude, but thanks anyway.
I'll tell you who else is on the...
oh, no.
They've got, we got Wolfman Jack.
How does he speak like that, by the way? Roscoe used to talk like that.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to attempt it, because I won't be able to speak for the rest of the show.
Did you see Roscoe the other night on the BBC?
No, I did not.
Oh, dear, he looked, well, he didn't recognise him.
Looks old?
Yes.
He is old.
And I tell you, tonight, Nick, I was watching it early on before you started, they had Roger Whittaker on.
Oh, God. Is he still whistling?
And they were doing a programme about the history of music and entertainment. You know, that programme...
And what does he have to do with that?
Well, because he was on top of the pops, wasn't he, with his leaving of Liverpool or
the words entertainment and Roger Whittaker have never sat well in the same sentence. Was this him? Was that him?
Is that Roger Whittaker?
I've got no idea.
And can I mention one other final
and finally...
Yes, This is one. It's a double LP, which I've had for a long time. I actually bought it for my nieces when they were younger. It's called Hello Children Everywhere. It's a collection of children's favourites from the 1950s and the 1960s, and it's got some truly wonderful songs on it.
I seriously doubt that. But listen,
thanks. Old Amsterdam by Ronnie Hilton.
Okay. Hey, send that to me, because that's one of my favourites. There was a mouse. Where?
That's right, yes.
There on the stair.
There's, there's Hello My Darling.
All right, just send it to me and I'll use it, all right?
Okay, Nick.
Thanks a lot, Philip. And he was gone. What a nice guy. He's got that list mania. You know, like men love to make lists. He's got that, like, through the roof. Was that Roger Whittaker? I seriously doubt it.
Listeners talk about...
Can't move without his grinning, bearded face peering out from the page at you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got one, I think it's from a couple of weeks ago. It was in the Sun. It's on about him making improvements to his mansion. Did you hear about that one?
I thought he was selling it. Or maybe he did sell it and he's got another one.
Yeah,
can't keep up with this bloke.
Well, I'll just read a bit of it. I'm going to set up a bit like a Playboy mansion. It's going to have real party potential. It's described as 24 bedroom, but it's actually 35, and I make clear that people know that.
35 bedrooms?
Would you?
Why would you want 35 bedrooms? What are you going to do in them? There'll be parts of his house that he never sees.
I think he's probably got, like, queues of women waiting for him.
Yeah, right.
Because it does good. It doesn't... I mean, it wasn't Richard and Judy. I thought probably this, it probably isn't saying half of this. We did mention something like on Richard and Judy the other week that is enjoying his single life. They don't really feel the need to share it with one woman.
Well, you know what? It's true that women are attracted to blokes that have a lot of money. Men are not attracted to women who have a lot of money. Conversely, men are attracted to women who are fantastically gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
But women seem to be attracted to men who've got money no matter what they look like, which I was always thought is a bit dubious. You know? It's a bit like, huh?
All we need to do now is make $1 million.
Exactly, yeah.
And we wouldn't be anywhere near as rich as him.
No, well, he's done particularly well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fault him for that. But I mean, if I came up, if I said no, I don't, Nick, I don't want to be on just with one woman for the rest of my life. You'll probably like get a string of callers like saying, "Oh, that's a horrible thing to say." Wouldn't you?
Have you just appalled yourself?
Appalled, yes.
Huh.
Very, very appalled. Yeah, but I mean, I sort of agree with him on one thing. Apparently, it's on about Charlotte Church is going to do a chat show, isn't she?
Is she?
Well, yeah, and he was saying, "Oh, she don't want to do that." Remember what happened to Davina McCall?
Yeah, I didn't see. I like Davina McCall, but I didn't see any of her chat show because, British chat shows. It's they always have the same people over and over and over again. It's that that Cockney actor, geezer bloke, whatever his name is. The fat guy who's always playing a gangster. What's his name?
Ross Kemp, do you mean?
No, the other one. But, it's either Ross Kemp or the guy who's in movies, the fat guy who always plays a gangster, or it's Ricky Gervais, or it's just the same people over and over and over, because no Hollywood star will come over for a chat show here. That's why the Hollywood or the American chat shows are more interesting than ours because of the guests and the people who write the programmes. Ours are just weak copies of American chat shows.
Yeah, and here's the new single by James Blunt.
Oh, my God. Yeah. James Blunt, in the last, 5 years or something, he is the second best-selling artist in this country. How depressing is that?
Yeah.
You know what's more depressing? Who the best-selling artist is? Guess.
Madonna.
No, worse.
Can't even know.
Worse than that.
I'm going to have some suggestions. Worse than Madonna and Kylie Minogue?
Yeah, way worse. Much more bland.
Blunt.
Like oral wallpaper.
Robbie Williams.
Huh?
Robbie Williams.
No.
I give up.
In fact, it's surprising that Robbie Williams isn't, because everyone except me seems to think he's fantastic. James Blunt is the second biggest selling artist in this country over the last few years. The best selling artist, can you stand it? Dido.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
People who buy Dido are people who hate music. It's not for listening to, it's for putting on in the background when you have dinner. No one listens to a Dido record.
I'll put it on in the background when you're contemplating slashing your wrist.
Suicide, yeah, exactly.
No, I can't. No.
It's
but
true.
I say, the most popular is always going to, like you've always said, is going to be the most.
It's going to be the blandest of its type, yeah. Usually the worst of its type.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So, Nick, last week you said that you'd found a fly there, porridge. Have you any updates?
Oh, you know what? And now I've missed my chance, because I was going to send it in the post, but I just couldn't get round to it. But now, of course, with the nightmare that's going to be going on in the post office tomorrow, the queue will be. I'll start queuing on Monday, and maybe I'll be able to send it on Friday. Yeah. But I'm determined. I found a tiny dead fly in my porridge, and I've kept it in a little sandwich bag, and I'm going to send it to them and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I will keep you updated. All right.
Yeah, because there's a bloke at work who's like it's like a rat catcher and stuff. He reckons a lot of people just make stuff up, which you can't understand. I suppose people are going to do that, aren't
Yeah, I'll try it on, yeah.
Like stick eyelashes in things.
Right. Well, there was a guy in America who stuck a finger in, a finger in his chili from one of the burger places. He said, I found a finger in my chili, and it made international news, and then come to find out later that he'd taken the finger in with him and inserted it in his own chili, and then said, hey, what's this?
Oh, God. What would you get a finger for? Did they chop it off really that?
I don't know. Fingers are a 24-hour-a-day finger store around the corner.
I did have a problem with my local pizza shop. I won't mention the name, but this is a big one. I had got pizza, I had a footprint in it.
A footprint?
Yeah, and I said to him, what's this? I got a footprint in me pizza. And this says, well, he did say get me a pizza and step on it.
Say goodbye, Adrian.
Goodbye, Adrian.
We've got to take a break. Let's take a break now, we'll come back.
Something beginning with road. Oh, me now. No. Something beginning with I want another go. I spy with my letter I. Something beginning with B. Dad.
RAC Patrolman Trevor Spong.
If you try. Come on, we're running late.
So everything is super over in Baghdad, eh? Iraq has the third largest oil reserves in the world, but yesterday drivers were forming mile-long queues outside petrol stations, knowing that they would spend the night in their cars before they could fill up. There's nothing in Iraq but oil, and they can't get any. Only 6 weeks ago, Baghdad streets were jammed with traffic. Now they're nearly empty because pumps have run dry. How is that possible? Water everywhere, and nary a drop to drink. Drivers queuing outside a petrol station in central Baghdad suggested that the real reason that they haven't got any petrol was crooked officials in the oil ministry. They accused officials of selling fuel to criminal gangs who sell it abroad at a huge profit. The shortage would have far-reaching consequences. It's the latest sign that the economy may be on the brink of collapse. Inflation is running... Guess what the figure for inflation is? That's right, 50%. Corruption is rife, and most importantly, at the end of next month, is going to bring to a close American-funded reconstruction programs, even though the electricity in Baghdad remains on for 1 hour in 3 at least. Hey, job done, Mr. President.
Absolutely.
We can be happy that there are people who are worse off than us. Hey, Mary.
Hello.
Mary.
Yes, I heard you talking about airport security.
Yes.
Well, I was one about 20 years ago.
And how was the experience?
Absolutely sham. I went down to the airport to apply for the job, and while I'm filling out the application form, I'm handed my uniform. No background checks done on me whatsoever, right. No experience whatsoever.
So it was a rigorous procedure.
And I was told to report for duty the following morning.
And what were you doing?
I was working for, I think it was Pan Am or TWA, I'm not sure which, and Air India. It was a private security company. And we had to scan the luggage going in, scan the passengers going onto the planes, and none of us had a clue what we were doing.
Right. Is it the most boring thing you've ever done?
The most boring job I've ever done. I stayed there for about 4 weeks.
And how long do you sit there in front of the screen looking at people's bags?
8.5 hours.
So, that's just ridiculous.
Now, with Air India, you had to open every bag and search every bag individually, because it was just after the Air India plane came down. But that's about 22 years ago, something like that. And we were working, we had Air India, and the company I worked for had Air India, and I think it was either Pan Am or TWA. And when it came to doing the American airline, we were told we were not allowed to search any passenger with an American passport. So this passenger came in from Ireland via Shannon to Heathrow and going on to the States. And I scanned the bag deliberately. And I said, I'm sorry, but you'll have to open that, because I could see something dark in it. I knew what it was. It was a Waterford crystal ashtray. But I wanted to see what it looked like.
Wait a minute, you knew... what was it?
It was a Waterford crystal ashtray.
But you just wanted to see what it looked like?
I just wanted to see what it looked like.
What, for your own amusement?
For my own amusement, and to annoy this American gentleman.
Right.
Well, I was called into the office and reprimanded, and I was told, scan British, Irish, any other passport holder, but not an American passport holder. And I said, no. An American can bring something dangerous onto that plane just the same as anyone else can. And I treat everybody the same.
So you were a rebel?
Again, I would get a reprimanding, and I get...
Yeah, you get fired, yeah.
Well, later on that evening, I was doing an Air India plane, and because we used to hop from one flight to the other. And this Air India plane could not go out because the pilot's license would be, or the visa would not be cleared by the time he left British air traffic. So he had to stay over in England overnight, so the plane had to be put out on the runway by Hampton Cross on the aprons. And myself and another young security guard was put out there with our little walkie-talkie, supposed to be for 3 hours. We were left there the whole night with walkie-talkies that did not work, sitting with this great big jumbo jet in the middle of nowhere.
Well, you were as well equipped as the British Army.
Oh, we were better equipped than the British Army.
And what was your impression of security guards in general? Did they seem like the sharpest knives in the drawer?
Well, I left that company, needless to say, after that episode.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I'm not going to sit out on...
They probably insisted on it.
And I left. And I went to work for another security company, and believe it or not, the same thing happened with them.
Right, but what's your impression of security of the people that do security in airports? Super bright, intelligent people who would pick up on, the slightest little clue?
No, not necessarily, no, because
definitely
it's
not,
just people that have been forced now to take a job and
exactly.
the get into is security.
Precisely, it's the most boring. It probably pays really badly. It's incredibly boring.
Well, at that time I was on £1.88 an hour.
Right, it's probably gone up a tiny bit since then.
I think it might be $5.25 an hour now.
Right, but that's my point. That there is no security on airplanes because these. Now, I don't mean to be rude about this, but it's just true. These are the people who are the front line of security. It's not the front line, they're the back line. They're the only line. Exactly. These are the people who are making decisions about who gets on the plane.
And
these are the people...
you do not get no backup from your superiors. You're told to do a job, and you do it.
Right.
But if you say, oh, there's something wrong here, they will not back you up. You are on your own.
But it's just, that was the point that I was making. But anyway, listen, thanks a lot, Mary.
Okay, dear.
Cheers.
You're
That's the word from the horse's mouth. From backstage. That's the problem with airport security. There isn't any because we're relying on people who aren't... Can you put it in a way that is not going to really upset people who are airport security? It's just true, though. I mean, any kind of security, right? I did security work... And it's mind-numbingly boring. So if that's your job, that means that you had little else to choose from, right? Unfortunately. And so, for all the pretense, for all the, they can make it super extra double serious, the threat level, it doesn't make the slightest bit of difference because those are the people that we're relying on. And they can't be that reliable.
Similarly, have you noticed now that they've pretty much done away with duty free? But every time that you came through one of those channels, was there ever anyone there?
No.
Maybe it's just a cost-cutting exercise, and now they just need to employ no one there, so they've just done away with the duty-free. Therefore, you don't need anyone to check whether you're going through red or green.
Every time I do go through duty-free, even though I'm not carrying anything illegal, I do always feel guilty, though. And you do sort of... You mentally prepare yourself to go through duty-free, right? You don't want to look to the left or the right. You don't want to stumble. You want to... In fact, you want to be talking to someone as you go through, because it makes it look as though you're casual, right? But that's probably what they're looking for. Aha, they'll say. But no, you never see anybody there.
Have you ever been stopped in all your years of travel?
No. I was stopped... the only problem I've had flying was with El Al. Because when going was a problem I've described, and coming back was worse, because... I was on my own. I'd only been in Tel Aviv for 5 days, and I had my passport right enough, but I didn't have any proof of where I worked. And they found this extraordinary, and they went through everything, you know, shampoo, and just took everything out of my case, and they weren't going to let me on the plane because I didn't have any evidence of where I worked. I mean, I look like the least Arabic person that you've ever seen in your life, right? I've got bright red hair and a complexion like snow. But that didn't seem to make any difference. And so they said, right, well, you know, we're not letting you through because you've got no proof of your place of employment. And I said, well, and I flipped through my diary to where the number for where I used to work, the V place, was in the back. I said, well, you could call them. And they said, oh, you got it written in your diary. Oh, well, that's all right then. I mean, how stupid is that? All you had to do to prove where you work is to write the name of a company in the back of your diary, and that was proof enough. That's just moronic.
Quite bizarre, isn't it?
And that's the best airport security in the world. So there ain't none. Happy flying. Let's go with Aberdeen. Oh, Matthew. Matthew.
First of all, I think there's about a 3-day delay between Aberdeen and London. Takes forever for what you're saying on the radio. Get here. Take the phone.
Oh, it's coming up by train.
Could be. Anyway, I'd like to deliver a report on the northern reaches of our Fair Isle. Today was the most beautiful day in Aberdeen for the whole summer, I think.
Because
it's outstanding.
It sucked out loud down here for the whole month of August.
Oh, you should have been up here. It was just incredible. We were out in the park, relaxing with beer. It was beautiful.
Aren't you getting bitten to death by midges?
Not that hot. Wasps were the biggest problem today. We killed a few. So
I thought midges just came out for the time of year. I didn't think that they came out when it was particularly hot, because it never gets hot there, really, does it? I mean,
No,
not reliably, such that an animal would risk its entire survival on the hot weather.
We usually get to about 23 or 24, and then we're very happy.
Yeah. Well, when it's not raining, you're very happy.
That's also true, yeah.
But, midges are a problem, and they're going to have to do something about that, because no one wants to go to Scotland in the summertime, for that very reason. They're just, it's intolerable.
I always try to leave, it's true.
Right, always.
Yeah. Spain is my favourite destination.
España, of course.
It's the best.
Well, there's certain parts of Spain that are absolutely excellent.
The south.
Pardon? The south.
South of
Right.
Madrid, I would suggest.
Mm-hmm.
And Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah. Madrid I don't know about.
It's okay.
All right, well, that's Spain. Tomorrow we're going to be doing Greece. Thanks a lot, Matthew.
No problem.
It was the weather from Scotland. Let's go with Veronica. Oh, Veronica. Oh, God. Hey, Veronica.
Hello. You
Hey,
alright?
I'm all right.
Cool. You made me ring you because you were talking about the airport security.
Yeah.
And I've had experience of the airport security. I've had to fly to France 3 times in the last 3 weeks. My boyfriend had an accident in France, that's why I was going. And the last time I went was Tuesday of last week. So I went all prepared with my clear plastic bag. Got through Gatwick really, really quickly, I thought. You still there?
Yeah.
Oh, God, you was really quiet.
I'm just listening. I'm wrapped.
got through checking really, really quickly. I got there 3 hours early, as I was instructed to on the internet. Was actually through checking within 25 minutes, which I was absolutely amazed about.
What,
Brilliant.
25 minutes before the flight left?
No, I got there.
Oh, okay.
Through checking.
Right, in 25 minutes, amazing.
Seriously, yeah. But when I went through the check-in with my plastic bag, they asked me what I had on me, and I had a lip seal on me that was taken off of me because that's made of gel, because they were buying any, like, gel substances.
And what do they do with it? Put it in a big tub and you never see it again, right?
It's gone. It was, yes, my lip seal was contraband, so I didn't get to keep my lip seal. I did have some hold luggage with me because I was taking some stuff over for my boyfriend. I had to put my cigarettes in my hold luggage, but I was allowed to keep 2 cigarettes. But
not a lighter?
No, they took my lighter away. I had a half-eaten packet of soft mints, which they kept. Because I couldn't have soft mints either.
You're not allowed to have fresh breath in France. Is that what they said?
No, apparently so. But that was fair enough, and I got through and I got out, and that was okay. But on the way back, I didn't have any luggage, but I did have a half-eaten packet of Maltesers, which weren't allowed either. I don't understand that either. But I just, it's been quite surreal last few weeks, and I just wanted to tell you, while I was on the flight, there was a family sitting behind me, and they'd just gone through all of the security, this is what you do with your oxygen, all the rest of it, and this is how you put on your life jacket, and it all finished, and a little fella behind me, probably 6 or 7, he's gone to his mum and goes, Mummy, if we have an accident and we have to use the life jacket, can we keep it afterwards? It was so funny, and so I thought, bless him, bless him. But I think the security's cool. But on the way back from France, the same thing again. I had my lighter taken away from me.
And when you went through security coming back from France, were the security people eating soft mints and Maltesers?
No, but they all looked pretty bored.
Yeah,
I've got to be honest.
Of course, it's a boring job.
Yeah, no, but I do feel sorry for them in a way, because there must be a lot of pressure on them, because it makes you wonder what they would do if they did see something that they thought was dodgy.
It must be like being in the army. Great swathes of boredom punctuated by moments of hysteria and panic.
Yeah, that must be really stressful, though.
Yeah.
It must be really stressful. But, yeah, they took my lighter off me in France, and then I went sort of to airside, waiting for my flight, went into a little shop and immediately bought another lighter.
Well, it's illegal not to smoke in France, isn't it?
No, they've got smoking areas. Oh, it's illegal not to smoke, sorry, bit slow, a bit tired. No, but I don't... another thing that happened, and you probably won't get this unless you've seen the film Fight Club, but I was talking to a gentleman who was also waiting for the Gatwick flight in France, who was quite distressed because he was a soap manufacturer, and he had a briefcase of soap with him, which he wasn't allowed to bring with him.
What?
Well, because you can make, it's like a gel thing, but if you haven't seen Fight Club...
I have seen Fight Club.
Yeah.
But I thought they made soap out of the fat from people's...
Yeah, on Fight Club, yeah.
Nice.
Just made me laugh, but he was quite distressed because he couldn't bring his soap back with him. But that's all I wanted to say, really. But,
I'm distressed because I bought 2 of those wheelie bags that you carry around an airport, and they're just big enough to get in the hold. You know, the size of bag that you used to be able to take on was exactly the same size as these things, and they're great because you get through the last moment of security, and you have to sit in the airport for an hour after endless hour, and you're trudging around shops, and the last thing you want to do is to be carrying your hold-all. So you have a wheelie bag, right? Now, of course, you can't take those on, and they're so small that they're completely useless for any other thing. So what are we supposed to do with them? I want my money back. But anyway, thanks a lot, Veronica.
That's right, no worries. Nice
All right.
to talk to you.
Ta-da.
Good work.
This
Ta-da.
is LBC.
Anna Rayburn.
It's about the papers. They've just arrived. Tomorrow's news... Well, tomorrow, I guess. No, it is today. Today is today. And these are today's papers, before anybody else has seen them. The Sunday Times. They're giving away a Mr. Men book. Is there a single newspaper on the market that is not giving away something in order to entice you to buy it, other than the quality of what's written inside? Who's going to buy the Sunday Times just because they're giving away a Mr. Men book? I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, last week they were giving away a DVD of the Rolling Stones, right? And I thought, I want that. I haven't watched it. But eventually, because I'm going to see him tomorrow, then eventually I'll get around to it. But that's something that I could understand that people would say, oh, yeah, OK. I don't normally buy the Sunday Times. I normally buy the Peephole. But because it's got the Rolling Stones DVD, I'll go and buy it. That makes sense to me, right? But a Mr. Men book?
Which Mr. Men book is it? Do we know?
Oh, who cares?
Well, that might make it,
One of 5 specially produced titles from the popular children's series.
It's the one they just made up, then?
I've got no idea.
Okay.
Are you a connoisseur?
I've read one or two in my time.
And the stories are security meltdown at airports. See, am I right about... I get tired of being so right all the time. Airport officials warned yesterday that Britain faces bank holiday chaos next week. Chaos is the favourite word of journalists, by the way. Anything is chaos, particularly on local, TV local news. It's travel chaos and everything's chaos. It makes it more exciting.
And it's severe chaos right now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because of likely breakages in the screening, likely breakdown in the screening of passengers. That's what will lead to chaos next weekend. Security staff carrying out anti-terrorist checks are overstretched and exhausted. That's it. Yeah, add to that the fact that they're, none of them are particularly qualified and just bored out of their minds, and that doesn't lead to very much confidence. Do you feel confident? The Peephole. Pete snubs Nikki. Exclusive, pages 4 and 5. Oh, you mean to say that love story wasn't true? And they looked so genuine, didn't they?
No.
No, not really, no. Macca to gag Heather for life. Sir Paul McCartney wants Heather to be gagged for life in a divorce deal worth $50 million. I'm just thrilled beyond measure that this is going to be hideously ugly. I think that she should reject the $50 million and go to America and sue him for $450 million. Because she could get that in the States. They'll just take what he's got, cut it in half and give it to her. I don't know, there's just something in me that finds that hilarious. And even if he had only $450 million, no reasonable person could ever spend that in their lifetime. Why is he clinging on to it so much? I mean, seriously, if you were worth practically £900 million, what would you do with the money? Elliot, any idea? I mean, you couldn't possibly spend it. You'd have a £10 million house in London, a £10 million house in south of France, a £10 million house in Barbados, and a £10 million flat in New York, and a £10 million flat in LA, or somewhere other of your choosing. And that's 50 million quid.
I think I'd have fun having a cash card if I had that amount of money that would have a really, really serious limit on it, and just spend half an hour just withdrawing money.
Right, and so that's...
Just emptying cash tills,
right, that's
for the hell of it.
That's 50 million and 10,000 quid. You've still got 850 million pounds to spend. And after you've spent houses, £10 million houses in 5 places in the world, what else are you going to spend your money on? I mean, what is that man going to spend his money on?
Well, the trap that you fall into also is a lot of Arab sheiks will tell you that you actually make more in interest per day if you've got that kind of money than you can actually really physically spend.
Yes.
Once you've bought houses, cars, a yacht, whatever.
How many Arab sheiks do you hang around with? This is what they tell you, is it?
There are a few around, yes.
Of course there are.
You'd be surprised.
I would,
Very
actually.
nice car park just down the road here the other day, actually. Yeah.
Was it a presenter's car?
Yeah, it wasn't mine.
Right. Mutiny, what was it?
Taxi for Mr. Abbot.
A Lamborghini Murcielago in lime. Very tasteful. You're saying nothing. Did I get that right?
You did.
I did.
Absolutely right, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're just saying that?
No, it was literally just down from Latimer Road tube station, which is very bizarre in itself, because somebody clearly had obviously parked there to hop on the tube. If I had a car like that, I wouldn't really want to be seen with my Oyster card.
Nobody,
indelible ink or not.
Nobody has ever parked a Lamborghini to get on the tube. The Daily Mail, they're very upset about something, I'd bet. Mutiny on Flight 613. Passengers refuse to allow HolidayJet to take off until 2 Asian men are thrown off the plane. British holidaymakers staged an unprecedented mutiny, refusing to allow their flight to take off until 2 men they feared were terrorists were forcibly removed. The extraordinary scenes happened after some of the 150 passengers on a Malaga to Manchester flight overheard 2 men of Asian appearance apparently talking Arabic. Passengers told cabin crew they feared for their safety and demanded police action. Some stormed off the Monarch Airlines Airbus 320 minutes before it was due to leave the Costa. Wow. That's people power in action. And Prince Harry is very upset. I'll hunt down the thief who stole my pictures by Harry Grope Girl. The Sun is just laugh out loud funny sometimes. They printed these pictures of Harry groping that dolly bird. And they said, this has just happened. Isn't this shocking? missing out the point that it didn't just happen. It happened like 3 years ago. But, you know, they're always top for veracity. That's what Elton John says. The Independent always goes with something that nobody else has even thought of, the obesity time bomb. They're just willfully obtuse, aren't they? Everyone else is going with, more or less the same stuff. But the Independent, they must, it's like I said last week, they must sit down and look at all the other papers and just tick off everything that everyone else is talking about and say, right, well, we won't have any of that. Has anybody else got any ideas? Oh, I know, fat people. Shock official report says the nation's weight is increasing so fast that soon 14 million people will be dangerously fat. And when you think that, America is an obese country, but we're right up there with them. Sunday Telegraph. Theo Walcott finally gets a first-team game. All right, mate. New storm cloud hangs over the Home Office. Civil servants have become accustomed to living in the eye of the storm. Blah, blah. Nothing much of interest, really. I don't think they'll be selling many copies to people who don't automatically buy the Sunday Telegraph. The Observer. Classroom revolution in bid to boost 3 Rs. Oh, the A-level results came out this week, and everybody passed. Everybody passed with A-star results. I swear, you just have to sit down and write your name correctly and they'll give you an A. Was there a single person who failed any of their A-levels this last time? Like, none. And they say that the exams aren't being dumbed down in order to make the government look better because they're achieving their targets. That would never happen, would it? Oops. The Observer. I don't know, there's just something about the Observer that's just really deeply boring. I mean, apart from anything, it's the wrong size. Does anybody like the size of the Observer? I mean, it's not small enough to be a tabloid, and it's not big enough to have any meat. It's just, I find it unsatisfactory. You're saying nothing. I've got the Sunday Express, the Star, and the Mirror, and, of course, the snooze of the world to come. All the most juicy gossip will be with us in moments.
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
OK, briefly, the Sunday Express. Halt the tide of EU migrants. That's in huge letters right in the front page there. That sounds like something that the Sunday Mail would come up with, doesn't it? But the Sunday Express are stepping on their territory, as are a lot of people stepping on ours, and they're very upset about it. Halt the tide of EU migrants, they say. Tories demand our borders be closed amid fears of an HIV time bomb. That's the reason that they've come up with they don't want EU migrants coming. Not because they're foreigners. They're worried about our health. OK. The Daily Star has got Pete from Big Brother all over it. That gurning, that's getting a little old, isn't it? He should stop doing that. It's a bit painful to look at him. World exclusive. Yeah, right. Pete says, I'm giving £100,000 prize to Mum. Now I will top the charts, and I'm mad for Nookie with Nicky. The Sunday Mirror. I'll do the news of the world first. Nicky's vice secret. Oh, God. Is there a single person that went on this Big Brother thing that doesn't have some sort of vice secret? They weren't a stripper or a prostitute or something of that order? I mean, next you'll tell me they're a bunch of exhibitionists.
I think the vice secrets are not secrets anymore due to their PR people making sure of it.
Big Brother screamer Nicky Graham is today exposed as I don't know if I should read this, because perhaps she isn't. You know, they're forever giving apologies. They'll splash it on the front page, and then 3 weeks later, there'll be the minute article on page 17 that you need a microscope to read that says, you know that page that we said 3 weeks ago that, whoever it was did whatever we said? Well, we were wrong about that, sorry. And that'll be the end of it. And everybody else who read it out on the air will be, freshly fired. But it says here that Big Brother screamer Nicky Graham is today exposed as a secret. See, I don't want to read it.
Lemonade drinker.
Yeah, exactly right. But you're going to have to pick up the news. You don't even have to buy it. It's right there on the front page. You'll be shocked, right?
No.
No, not really. And finally, the Sunday Mirror. Ruse strike threat. Rooney's going to go on strike. Oh, God. It's not about the red card, is it? He punched some bloke in the face. That's what it looked like to me. But it's not his fault. It's some Portuguese guy's fault, or it's the ref's fault, or it's like one of the fans who's taking flash photography and, he caught him unawares. It's somebody else's. Has anything that boy ever done been his fault? I bet he sailed through school without anybody saying boo to him at all, just because of the size of him. I mean, does he look like somebody who would help you with your homework or wait for you outside school and beat you senseless? Which of the two?
I would say the latter.
Yeah. I'm not saying that he did, I'm saying that he looks like it.
Yes.
Yeah. Because of his gigantic size, and because he's good at football, I bet nobody has ever said a cross word to this guy, like, ever. And so he's lived in a life without consequence. He's just sailed through, and now everything that happens to him is not his fault.
He looks more like a rugby player.
Precisely, yeah. But he doesn't have the he doesn't have the brain of a rugby player.
No.
Why are rugby players? I guess it's because people who go to public school play rugby and cricket, and people who go to comprehensives play football. That's, yeah. But that's not the case in other countries, because you'll see a post-match interview with players, and the English players can barely string one word together. They can hardly express themselves in the English language, whereas foreign players who are speaking without the benefit of their mother tongue are expressing themselves perfectly lucidly, and we can understand every word they say, and they're speaking in actual sentences. So it can't be that... It must just be in this country where all the stupid people go and play football, because in other countries they seem to be middle-class people. Because would Wayne Rooney be able to conduct an interview in French, for instance?
I think that's very unlikely.
Yeah, he can barely conduct an interview in English. Poor boy.
It's an interesting thought, though, nevertheless.
Yeah, have you ever thunk about that before? We've got BB stars, says the Sunday Mirror. Well, they don't. They had the losers. News of the World have probably sewn up... Oh, no, it was the... It was the Daily Star who seemed to have sewn up Pete, although everyone will claim to have an interview with him. But the Sunday Mirror has got Ashaleen and Glyn on the front page. Ash says, I can't wait to get back with my jailbird lover. Is that a surprise?
No.
No. And I was in the gutter by 16. I was living in a hostel full of druggies. Glyn says, now Leah has promised to give me a night to remember, and I first had sex last summer on a hill... watched by sheep. Let's go with Barnet. Hello, Muriel.
Hello, how are you, Nick?
Is your name Muriel?
It can be if you want to call me Muriel, that's fine.
Oh, is it Muriel?
No, it's Morel.
Morel.
Morel, but never mind, whatever. I wanted to back you up on Allow.
Yes.
Security.
Go on.
I regularly... I regularly fly with them, and I never feel as safe when I'm flying with LL.
No, exactly.
I just think they're amazing. I think they were checking shoes years before anybody else. Remember the shoe bomber thing?
Yes.
And you were saying about they saw in your diary your work phone number, and therefore they let you on the plane.
Yeah.
Is that right? They sussed you out anyway. That's what the clipboard was for, Nick.
What do you mean?
Well, when they were asking you questions... Okay, and they came back and they asked you more questions, they're profiling you all the time.
Yes, but it did seem bizarre that they were putting their foot down and not letting me on the plane until I came up with a hastily scribbled note in the back of my diary that had a radio station's phone number on it.
Well, the funny thing is, I've been...
Which, by the way, sorry to interrupt you, which, by the way, they didn't check.
Well, that is really strange, but unless they actually realised who you were... You have I'm serious.
Oh, come on. I've never been recognised in this country, let alone Israel.
No, sort of thing. But I have seen people that have, tried to get on and they've stopped, and they are adamant. They are absolutely adamant that you will not get on. There's no argument.
I think they were, because I don't look like a terrorist. I don't look at Arabic in any way, shape or form. There's none that looks more British than me.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they were having a laugh. They were bored and they were just having, amusing games with a foreigner. I just think they were just passing time.
No, they do. I mean, the thing is, they don't. You see, the thing is, if they just profile one type, then you'll always get the next person going on who is British and has got a grudge against Israel. Do you know what I mean? So they treat... Obviously, they profile you anyway, but their security is fantastic. And, and when you're on the plane, the security that you see...
I know, they secrete people on the plane itself.
Exactly. I mean, it's just... You sit down, you feel relaxed, you feel safe... and somebody, who's it saying, apart from the odd rocket from Syria, but I don't mean to be funny, but anybody, do you know what I mean? They're against America, they're against some of the Arab countries, they're against us. Anybody's in the same situation. And the pilots are better trained because they're ex-military. I mean, everything's in their in their court, really, Nick.
Yes, but yes, I know. But even so, I mean, they're gonna. But where do you even start? Okay, if it was serious last week, so serious that we had to take on clear plastic bags with virtually nothing at all onto the plane, how come that it's okay to do more or less what we used to do now, take on bags with all sorts of rubbish on the plane, and we can pretty much do as we did before?
Are you talking about for the British Airways
Yes.
and United?
I mean, if they're either serious about this or they're not.
I don't think they are. I think they're so worried about the fact that they've got the attitude. This is going to be a sweeping statement, okay? I think they've got the attitude that as long as they're making money, and I don't draw LL into this. I'm talking about the other airlines. I think as long as they're making money, right? They sort of that is their top-notch sort of thing. Rather than security, they really need to beef it up. You can't get security staff that aren't properly trained. You just can't have that in 2006 in this country.
Well,
you can't have people that are bored and, like the lady was saying, you get the uniform before your security check's gone through. You know?
The problem will always be us.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going to put up with it. We won't stand for it. We'll whine and bitch and moan and complain, and they'll do anything they can in order to appease us so we don't all take holidays in Britain, which is pretty much how it's going to go.
Yeah, but I think we're getting better because I think people, like the people want to get, the idea is to get on the plane and get off in one piece. So we're going to have to put up with the security. We're going to have to put up with the long waits that you do with El Al. You want to get on the plane, you want to feel safe, you want to have your holiday, you want to fly back, you want to feel safe.
But I think that you hit the nail on the head when you said that it's all about the money. And you know what? The more time you spend in going through security, the less time you can spend on the plane, so the fewer flights that a plane can make. And planes cost tens of millions of pounds, so they've got to be in the air virtually all the time. And if they're just standing around waiting for you to get past security, then people aren't going to be making much money anymore.
Well, exactly. It's all the turnaround factor, isn't it? It's the turnaround factor of the airlines.
And so the airlines aren't going to put up with it, and so there is no security. We're back to that again. There isn't any.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's just a situation of being that the airlines have got to actually turn around and realise, that they're and also they're going to have to. Maybe they are going to have to get rid of cheap flights, the very, very cheap airlines, because they can't afford to pay for adequate security. Maybe that's going to happen. We can't go to Italy for £20 anymore.
Well, yes, and the Italians will be thrilled, by the way.
But we'll still go there. It's a beautiful country.
It is,
We'll still go there in our Union Jack T-shirts and our shorts and our sort of red bald heads.
Rushing headlong from the airport to the nearest ice cream stand.
Absolutely. But, there are consequences, and this might be one of the consequences.
Yeah.
But it's just something we've got to deal with.
I'm going to take shares out in any company that runs a seaside resort in this country.
I was thinking of buying a bed and breakfast.
I think that's an excellent idea.
I was thinking of buying a bed and breakfast, because I think holidays in Britain are going to soar. If anybody's got some spare money...
I think that in order to make them more enjoyable, we should leave all of our equipment on standby all the time, because global warming doesn't seem to be working fast enough, does it?
Oh, I'm not going to go with that. No. No, we need to cut down on global warming.
No, I think we need to speed it up. It's freezing out there.
No. We can't have that. We've got to cut down on pollution. Got to cut down on the crap that comes out of cars. We've all got to have solar panels on our roof. Shall I go on?
No, I think you're completely wrong. Those are the last things we want to do. We need more heat, Muriel.
Oh.
What's your name?
My name's Sue.
All right, Sue. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
It was Sue. Huh? No break. Oh, break at 55. Oh, you see, you get used to a break at 1:45, and I was sitting in the comfort zone there. I thought, but no. All right, if you insist, we'll go with Tallulah. If I can get her up. Pressing. Tallulah. Hey, Tallulah. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll, yeah.
How are you?
Oh, excellent. But to be honest, when I listen to all this stuff about airlines, it reminds me quite a long time ago when I went to America for just 3 days. They'd done exactly the same to me.
You went to America for how many days?
3 days.
3?
New York, Philadelphia, Boston, home.
Blimey. What, were you on tour?
No, I met my boyfriend then, who was on tour with Bad Religion, and that was just the schedule, but it was so short that they were suspicious and they took me apart like there's no tomorrow.
Well, yeah, you tour with an outfit called Bad Religion in America, and you're bound to come up with problems, yeah.
Yeah, but, well, it sounds very familiar, but it's really quite a while ago. So, what pass do you have to go to your gig tomorrow?
What, sorry?
Do you go business? Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Do you go business class tomorrow or economy? Economy.
What, to the Rolling Stones?
Yeah.
I'm first class all the way, baby.
Wow. Access all area.
Exactly. Well, no, I don't get backstage. But I'm going to be arriving late anyway. I won't have time to suck up any of that free entertainment backstage. But I think the Rolling Stones are they're very particular about who they allow backstage, and I'm not the sort of person that they would want to see. Quite right, too.
Okay, but it's a guest, yeah?
Yeah, I'm up the front. I'll be able to reach out and touch him.
Cool, baby.
I'm quite looking forward to it, actually. As long as it doesn't snow, I'll be all right.
I watched the stuff from China when they were the first time in China, and everybody went mad, like when the Beatles were around here in England, and they looked fit.
Well, yeah, I mean, they jump around on stage for 2.5 hours every night for like the last 5 years they've been on tour.
Yeah, and I think Keith Richards looks better now than he ever did.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding? Keith Richards looked like walking death.
Yeah, but that's the comical side about it. It's rock and roll never stops.
How that man is still alive is a mystery to medical science. How has he done it?
No, it's the magic of rock and roll, man.
Okay. He's been a walking chemical experiment for about the last 60 years. How has he managed to keep going? It's a miracle.
It's the same applies to the drummer.
Oh, well, he's been a bit calmer, isn't he? Charlie Watts, I mean, he's done jazz bands and so on, but Keith Richards, he's just off the scale.
But he was a guest when I was on a TV show with my buddy, and when you watch it, you can't stop laughing because he's so out of this world. Well, Keith Richards and Charlie Watts are an item altogether. They come from the same family.
Really? I did not know. An item, you say? Everyone's looking in shocked surprise. Huh. Well, that'll give tomorrow's concert a bit of a frisson.
It's called In the Genes.
In their genes, you say? Well, there's no need to get graphic, but thanks for the news.
Day with G.
So what have you been up to this week then, Tallulah? Where do you even start? Yeah.
Exactly. I found it quite funny the way you explained how you tried to get up and you couldn't because you were so demolished from all these weeks working like no tomorrow that you were paralyzed, basically.
Well, yeah, I did spend, well, I'm not paralysed exactly, perhaps I was exaggerating, but I did spend a couple of days, having worked every day, doing one or two shows a day for a month. I did take 2 days off and did absolutely nothing. It was great. But then, during the week, I just, for the entire time, I had this nagging thought in the back of my head that I should be doing something, and I hate that. Because I didn't actually have anything to do, but I felt it hard to relax, because I felt like, I should be at work. I'm late. You know, it's that I'm late feeling.
Yeah, it's a yin-yang thing. It's the opposite of what you did before. So there's this funny feeling there.
The yin-yang feeling, yeah,
no,
you're right
I mean,
about
it
that.
was not a good example. It's just because you were completely the opposite of what you did
Yeah,
before.
I get you. Yin-yang.
Yeah.
So how's the parrot?
Yeah, the budgie, you cheeky monkey. But your birthday's on the 22nd, isn't it?
Happy birthday to me. Yes.
Because I just opened my MySpace and somebody reminded me.
You know what, there's 2 MySpace sites in my name, neither of which I have anything to do with. But when I find it almost impossible to find them, because you go on MySpace, you know what MySpace is? That's that site where teenagers organise sex with each other, or whatever it is that they do. And so you go on and I searched for my name. And a lot of sites came up, but none of which were purportedly mine.
Well, I can help you there. I will link you to it.
Well, eventually I did find it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And
what are you talking about then?
And I'm confused with MySpace, right? This is a site that's one of the most successful new businesses in the history of Earth. And people list their friends, right, which presumably are just people that they chat to and you have common interests in, but they know them in some form. On my website, there's people who are my friends that wouldn't ever talk to anybody that was running a website about me. So they've been put on as my friends without their knowledge.
Yeah, because you didn't do it. When somebody's asking me to be their friend, I go through their pages and I feel like I'm on an airport. I scan them.
Yes, but okay, here's an instance. Neil Rogers. Now, Neil Rogers is my hero. He's a talk show host in the States. And he is apparently one of my friends on this site that somebody's set up in my name. But there's no way on earth that Neil Rogers would actually write or include himself as one of my friends. He just wouldn't.
Yeah, but you become friends. For example, there's a lady from Brazil who contacted me and asked me if she can have one of my songs.
Okay, well, so that's the point that I'm making. She contacted you. You've had some contact with her. But on this site that's done in my name, there are people on there who have never contacted the site. So they've been put on as friends of supposedly mine, without ever having knowledge that they've been put on as friends. So these people aren't friends. They're just been gathered up at random. I don't get it. I don't...
Okay, Nick...
Mystified.
Nick, I give you some doctor advice, medical advice. Make your own space by the real Nick Abbott. Do your own site and then decide for yourself who you want on there.
No.
Demolish all the people who pretend to be you.
I absolutely will not do that.
I thought you would. But then,
I'll do that just as soon as I start writing a blog, and that'll never happen either. How has anybody got the time to write a diary on the internet for other people to read? I just don't. I don't get it.
I don't get this ABC blog thing either. No, neither.
Neither. You say neither, I say neither. Let's call the whole thing off.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tallulah.
I know.
Ta-ra, gotta go.
Ta-ra.
Bye-bye. Hey, I do say ta-ra all the time. I can't help it. It's my upbringing. Marcus.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm alright, mate. And you?
I'm okay.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, mate.
Alright. What I want to talk about is young kids nowadays. Now, I was born here. My mum is British. My dad is from Mauritius. My mum passed away when I was 5 years old. My dad started his business in Mauritius, went back, and I came back to Britain when I turned 20. I've been here for the last 10 years. It's going to be 11 years now. I mean, when I was brought up, I was given good values, which is to work hard,
respect your elders, that sort of thing.
Respect your elders, that sort of thing, yeah. And I used to work for a bank. I was a bank manager. Just quite recently started my own business, and I started having a free time to stay at home. And during this time, my partner's cousins have started coming to stay with us. They're 15, 16, and another one is 18. Now, I was listening to the rapper that I was hearing a bit earlier, the English rapper.
Yeah.
And for me, the way he even sounded was impolite or uneducated or illiterate, to be quite honest. Having English as your first language, even to speak as such.
Well, I'm not saying that he is, but there's a good chance that he is, because on something like 40% of people in this, isn't it something staggering like that 40% of the people in this country are illiterate, like they cannot read or write?
All right, which is strange, because I used to work in Whitechapel area. I don't know if you know it in London.
Yes.
And, I mean, I do see people coming up to me and ask even to read certain things for them, or even being English, not being able to read it, or even to speak it, for me is such a disgrace.
Yeah, well, as Tony Blair said, education, education, education. That's exactly. What is most important to him, yeah.
And okay, fair enough. I've even stopped speaking English when I went back to Mauritius to live with my dad. And when I came back here, I picked it up and started to speak like in a straight manner. whereas other people are not speaking it the way that I should be spoken to.
But you originally called up, what's on my screen is kids nowadays, and that's what you were about to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's the difference between kids in Mauritius and here, is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Right, go on.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on.
Now, we are giving good values there, not to steal. Parents don't support you if you call that shoplifting. I mean, most parents do get angry. And even, we haven't even got it in a degree which is very, I mean, down here with my business, I get shoplifted, you catch the kids, you call the parents, but the parents don't even care. Parents do come to you and shout at you or tell you, so what? You know, I mean, being supportive, which I do agree to a certain degree. If the kid has been abused or you hit him or, you know, if you've done something to him. But for someone whom you call shoplifting, I mean, the parents should not be lenient.
Well, I think it goes much broader than that. And it's kind of what I was talking about earlier on, where it's uncool to be attentive in school. Like, you want to be at the back, flicking ink bombs or whatever the current the similar activity is, flicking nose pickings or whatever they do, and you don't want to be paying attention because that's not cool. It's hard to be stupid, and it's also hard to be rude. You don't want to give up your seat in a train. You don't want to, let someone by without jostling them, because I think that it's just weird. We've got kind of twisted in this country.
It's up to us to teach the children, basically.
Well, yes.
No one is giving them...
It's kind of our fault.
It's kind of our fault. I was watching the telly the other day, yeah? For the whole week, I decided to watch telly, 1 to 5 terrestrial channels, yeah? I mean, in the morning, what you even watch on the telly, which is Channel 4 or Channel 3...
Oh, it's true. Jeremy Kyle, don't tell me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
what a nightmare.
Even the stories that you hear on that program, it's not encouraging to our children. It's giving the wrong message.
Yeah, exactly. And all of the people that are out of school watching it, they're thinking, that's how I want to live my life. But anyway, listen, Marcus, you're absolutely right, but I've got to go because I've got to take a break. All right. And I'm not being rude or disrespectful when I say that.
The amazing adventures
that we're all very upset about and concerned, justifiably, is called, he's the leader of Iran, and Mr. I'm Mad in the Head. His name actually is spelt like that. And that's a sign, right? But China is looking like it's going to be as bad. I wish I'd seen this. One of China's most senior diplomats has made an extraordinary attack on America, saying that it should shut up about China's growing military capacity. This is a diplomat, right? Xia Zukang, China's ambassador to the UN in Geneva, launched his diatribe in an interview with the BBC yesterday during a programme about China's booming economy and military strength. It's much better for you to shut up. Keep quiet, the ambassador said, referring to America, raising his voice to a high-pitched yell. Are you number one? Why blame China, he says. Forget it. It's high time to shut up. It's America's sovereign right to do whatever is good for them. But don't tell us what's good for China. And the moment Taiwan declares independence, supported by whoever, China will have no choice but to go to war with them, he shrieked. Oh, another nut in charge.
Oh, no.
We're doomed.
On FM.
On DAB.
And